All right. Finally got it figured out after a little bit of driving. But hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Late Night here on youtube.com/The Shuffle Squad. And after some some fighting with technology and a long, deep look at my ability to drive, we're here. I am Kyle Rios, a.k.a. Koopa in many other places, and I'm reunited for another week. Took a little bit of a sick break last week, but glad you're feeling better and you're just back to being sick nasty with it instead. It's Victor Aung. Vic, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Excited for this week of late night events. I'm going to Sacramento this weekend, so I am invested in the results. I'm excited to see what decks make it to the top today.
I'm also very excited, both as a spectator and to see what you're going to be bringing to the table as well. So we are, believe, just finishing up the round here. I believe everything for Top Cut is just about finished out. So I'm just going to refresh the page here. And we're going to, looks like we have a couple of options here of matches we can jump into. So,
I have a preference to stream whoever KRON is playing against because he has a really sick Arc or Shifu deck that I've never seen before in action.
Ooh, I like that. So, taking a look here, I believe. I'm trying to see what they're...
Looks like KRON's playing Melfo, and Melfo is streaming, so maybe we watch that match.
Yeah, we'll hop in here, so we'll see what's happening. Let's hop in this chat over here. All right, there we go. And if bear with me for 1 second, folks, while I adjust the screen here for you guys. But yes, we're gonna have Melfo going up against KRON here, and it looks like Melfo's playing Lost Tina. So get everybody's favorite variant of Lost Box, it seems, but kind of a little bit absent from Peoria this past weekend, Vic. So curious if that's if that's a sign of things to come, or maybe just a rough weekend for the deck. But either way, we are here, and we're getting into it.
Yeah. Caught the match right in time. Lost Tina is in an interesting spot. Like you said, not as popular in Peoria. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. Could be that people were afraid of the Mute EX. I think Mute EX is a really good attacker into Giratina V-Star, and obviously that just came out in the 151 set. Also, it seems that a lot of top players don't like the deck because it's not super consistent. As you can see already from this hand, it's not the best. It's not a terrible hand, but not a good one, I would say.
Yeah, this is definitely like a rough hand, and oh my gosh,
from KRON.
How do you counter? Yeah, how do you counter a bad hand from your opponent, an even worse hand? Like
these two Radiant Pokemon staring each other down, not providing that much value, especially the Radiant Alakazam at least.
Doing what they do best in radiating, for sure. They are very shiny, but we're gonna see the Colress come out here. So, pretty. I'd say a pretty standard choice right there. Obviously, gonna try to get some comfies down and start getting some more guys in a lost zone here. So we could potentially see something. I don't know if he's gonna have the tools to maybe get to a Mirage Gate, but I've seen crazier things happen on turn 2. So
yeah, I think this, because it's Tina and not Turbo, they might not have the vacuums, and I can confirm that in just a moment. Yeah, no vacuums in this list, so the most we could possibly see is a Cram Attack. So this Alakazam isn't gonna get donked, but as our viewers are probably well aware, if an Arc deck doesn't have Arc Energy turn 1, it definitely will feel bad.
Yeah, that just means you have to take another 2 turns just setting up whatever you want to do. Like, I was explaining to a newer player today that it's very meat and potatoes what your game plan is as an Arceus archetype, is that, did you attach energy turn 1? Good. You've won half the battle. And then it's just kind of, making sure you can draw yourself into the other tools you need to get to your V-Star. But it's not looking too great right now. We're going to see the attachment for turn here. I'm also going to retreat into that other comfy. See another 2 cards here.
I wonder if Ooh, we do see the cram. So the retreat into the comfy is rewarded. They are going to get a cram attack off this turn thanks to that Colress plus the 2 flower selectings. I was going to say, I wonder if they should have Abyss Seeking instead, but they got rewarded for that greedier play. Going to put 110 onto the Radiant Alakazam.
Yeah, and slamming the path down. So that's just going to be another thing for KRON to have to fight through here. Oh, and there you go. Sometimes it's all you need.
We've got some messages in chat already. A friend saying hi, Akko. And we also have Poplio King finishing 66th. Congrats on your finish. Hopefully you can, if you're going to Sacramento, hopefully we can, 66 in Sacramento would be really good. Top 64 maybe.
That'd be great. Yeah, that's, you're right on the cusp of, of the doorstep of, top 32 there. So, oh my gosh.
Instant concede. Turn 2.
GG's. Wow.
So I wanted to see this deck perform. That wasn't exactly what I was expecting, exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that was certainly kind of maybe the win out of our sails a little bit there, but that just kind of speaks to how rough that hand probably had to have been for KRON. If just immediately on turn 2, you're like, yeah, we're I've seen enough. let's just scoop it up and move on here. And I can see why you want to see this deck list. I'm looking at it here, and it is truly stacked to the brim with some silly cards here for sure. But I love it. I love the Ursh, like the Rapid Strike archetype in general. So I'm all for it.
I'm gonna drop the deck list in the chat for our viewers right now, but basically it's an Arc deck that plays 1/1 Urshifu VMAX, 1/1 Flying Pikachu VMAX, 1/1 Alolan Vulpix V-Star, 1 Rapid Strike Energy. All these one-ofs combined into, when people say Arc Pile, this is really the epitome.
This is, yeah, I was going to say, this is certainly like the Arc Piliest of piles I've ever seen for sure. And again, I'm sure what... Go ahead.
No. You first.
No. Well, I was gonna say, like, KRON is. I was just gonna touch on that point. He's no stranger to playing some wacky one-ofs, in these Arc decks. I obviously the glaring example is the deck from NAIC that played the likes of Slacking V in it, I believe.
Yes.
So definitely no stranger to inviting some fun characters over for dinner.
I played against it in NAIC, and I almost lost to Metacham V because I forgot that it was in the deck. Yes, very interesting Arc Pile. I think KRON has been talking about it on Twitter nonstop. He's always been saying, if I was going to a tournament, this would be the play. This would be the play. So glad to see he's finally backing it up. And speaking of backing it up, Arc Energy turn 1. Well, we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, we're already see a wildly different start to game than in this game than the last. So we're not going to see how Melfo counters here. So again, going to get the chorus off and getting a VIP pass. Definitely not a bad way to start the game for sure. So
VIP pass can grab some confies. I will say though, even though I really wanted to see KRON's deck and see it perform and see how he pilots it, but I also think that this is probably one of the worst matchups for the deck. Giratina V-Star trades so well into Arc V-Star, and there's no V-Guard energy in this list, so 280 going to be perfect math later on in the matchup.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we'll see how that plays out when we get there. Use a Jet Energy to immediately promote that comfy. Debating on what's the proper way to do things here. Maybe thin a card out. Looks like it's gonna grab that other Giratina V.
Only one V-Star in deck. I didn't notice if there was. I think there's one in.
I believe there's one in the hand. So
okay. So trying to set up 2 Giratina V-Stars, that makes a lot of sense in this matchup. No mana fee though, so I guess KRON could theoretically punish that somehow. If it comes down to it, we'll see how that plays out.
Right, there we go. Immediately slamming the path to the peak down and going to get that spit innocently off. So again, a great turn 2 here for Melfo. Just basically doing everything you do and softening the wall. And, let's see if KRON has the out here.
Boss's orders, fighting energy. I think bossing for your supporter for turn, that might signify that it's not a good hand, and it definitely isn't. I feel bad because I was insistent on seeing this matchup, but it's going to turn into a quick 2-0 from what I can tell.
Definitely a case of trust me, bro. I definitely, but I was in the same boat. I was very excited to see, what we had to play with here. But, like you said, the boss as your supporter for the turn when you're not fully set up is one thing. And then, having to swing with the power edge is another. And there we go.
There it is.
A swift 2-0 here for from Alpha over KRON.
I think that's the fastest 2-0 I've streamed so far. Yeah, that was pretty quick.
All right, so for our viewing pleasure, we can't hop into another match. It looks like Andrew Hedrick is
maybe we should do that.
Yeah, so do you got any outstanding thoughts on that match before we jump over it?
I hope KRON can show us the power of this deck, maybe at Sacramento or something. That's what I'd like to see.
All right, so let's switch on over to our other match. All right, we are here joining Andrew Hedrick in his top 8 match, already in progress, going up against James Sims.
Looks like they are in the middle of game 1, and actually, I wouldn't saying the word "middle" is probably a little bit too strong of a term, considering that we're at 5 and about to be at 4 prizes. So it's still it's approaching the mid game, and it's so funny that we watched a whole set in the meantime while this game isn't even finished yet.
Yeah, it looks like it is Lost Tina on James' side. On Andrew's side, he is playing the Turbo variant with a Pidgeot V in the list. So
yeah, Hedrick has been testing this variant of Turbo for a while now, since basically Worlds, where they choose to play 3 Sableye, 3 Psychic. So I think you're very favorable into any Lost Box matchups, any Gardevoir matchups, because that's where Sableye and Psychic shine the most. You do not have a Raikou or Drapion, though, so some of your other matchups will falter, but I think Hedrick pretty happy to see that this matchup is the one for top 8.
Yeah, no, definitely. Considering, like you said, you kind of craft yourself around a specific variant of Lost Box, but we're going to see the Cram come out here for James. That's going to be a KO on the Sableye. So going back down to 4 prize cards here. But a pretty healthy hand here for Hedrick, so he has a lot of options to play with here.
There is no mana fee on the side of the Tina V-Star player, so if Greninja comes out here, that could pretty much seal up the game. And it's definitely doable with this type of hand, unless it's prize, which maybe it could.
It looks like I think it was in the discard pile from what I saw, possibly. I wasn't sure if that was discard or lost zone, from what I saw, but
might be in the lost zone. Let's see if Andrew goes for the play or not.
Let's see some flowers here. Pretty easy choice there. Late game battle VIP pass and anything else.
Lost Box, super fun deck. I would be lying if I said it wasn't on the radar for me for Sacramento this weekend. Very strong.
That'll blame you.
Yeah. It is a deck that can be built to beat anything. I mean, we see Andrew's list being very, very strong into any matchup you want to Sableye in. It can also, however, I guess the meta is very wide, though, so it's very difficult to get it to beat everything, I think is one of the weaknesses of this deck.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely promising if you're playing Lost Box of recently, looking at Lost Kyogre winning the first 2 regionals of the season. So, I feel like people are maybe a little too quick to write off Lost Box as an archetype, considering they're like, oh, well, Iono's one thing, and then you have new cards coming out like Jirachi that might make things a little bit more difficult. But, the deck still continues to, show its grit and continue, like you said, to be a good meta call into basically everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see if it survives Iron Hands, but for now, pretty decent. Um, Andrew putting 120 onto the Giratina V, basically hoping that James does not have the evolution there. Um, instead of choosing to knock out a Comfy or anything like that, which is interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, looks like we'll see what becomes of it here. Now, maybe this could be. Could Andrew potentially be setting himself up for a Roxanne play here? Um, I see that card.
True.
I see that card in the hand, so maybe it's like, okay, I'll bait you into taking the KO here, and then I'll go for the jugular.
Yeah, maybe he wanted a stronger board, maybe like multiple Sableye in play before going down to the 3 price turn. I do think though you kind of want to take the knockout this turn, or else you risk that Giratina V getting evolved up. But on the other hand, your opponent really didn't do much, and there's 2 Giratina V stars in the loss zone for James, so maybe that's part of the calculation that Andrew is making.
All right, there you go. There you go. Gonna grab the Sableyes and the Psychic Energies back with Clara. Immediately reload that hand.
Yeah, this is Lost Zone's bread and butter, kind of checkmating the game by putting 2 Sableye in play, and it's made even easier when you play all 3 copies of those Sableyes and 3 Psychic Energy. And we'll see if Andrew chooses to go for that knockout this turn, or simply keep setting up the damage to kind of avoid that Roxanne.
Yeah, looks like we're just going for the knock here.
Yeah. So it actually gonna think about leaving 10 off of it. Okay, so playing around that Roxanne, saying that that's basically the only way I lose this game. I think that's very valid. There's 2 Giratina V-stars in the lost zone, so it's unlikely that your opponent will evolve, given that he didn't evolve last turn.
Right.
So I guess that it makes sense. They're probably holding on to Roxanne, given that they haven't done much.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case here. We're going to detach and retreat.
Oh no. It also, I think, part of the calculus has to be how many switch cards your opponent runs, and thankfully for Hedrick, their Tina V-Star decks don't typically play the full 4 switch cards. In this case, there's 3 switch cards, and I believe some of them have been used already. And I think, given the lack of healing, it makes this play a lot stronger, and we see the concession from the other side, basically confirming our fears that there's not enough healing for James to come back in this match.
Yeah, not enough healing in the world, unfortunately, there for James. Oh, and there you go. I guess that was. Oh yeah, they were already a couple games deep already. So, let's not show that. If you guys want to guess at home what the password is, that's on you. So, all right, we'll bring it back to us. So. Oh. Sorry about that. I cut you off for a second. Okay. Gotta love it when that happens. Alright, so we are going back to game 2. Alright, so game 1 going in Andrew's favor. Let us see let's see what breaks on here in game 2. Now how do you feel about going first or second? Like, does it depend on in the mirror? Like, does it depend on you, like what type of Lost Box variant it is, or like as a Lost Box player yourself?
It's pretty close. I think going second is slightly better in most cases. I mean, it's kind of win-win for Turbo and lose-lose for Tina in that situation, because Turbo pretty consistent in getting that turn 1 cram attack off, while Tina isn't. Especially if they don't hit the chorus, you're in a pretty bad spot. Whereas Turbo, they could sometimes hit it off of a vacuum and whatnot. But either way, I think the first person to take the cram KO is in a pretty good spot usually. So I would choose to go second.
Alrighty, so pretty decent hand to start off here, and Kind of a rough choice here, but looks like he's going to opt for the Dragonite. He does have the Force Seal Stone in hand, so obviously Dragonite an easy target for that to possibly help you get something this turn, help you get something later down the line. All right, just gotta think about what to do here. Looks like the Dragonite is gonna hit the bench here,
and not very good for going first. And I think that is gonna force down the Dragonite. And I think this is a win condition that James has. I mean, normally not a win condition that is too common, especially given that Hedrick plays the Pidgeot V, which you can normally shuffle back in. But in this case, getting a Giratina V-Star out, doing 280 onto that Dragonite V, or doing the I don't know, Star Requiem to KO the Dragonite V, getting 2 prizes that way. It is a win condition, and we could see this Dragonite V be a crucial part of James's win condition and taking this to a game 3.
Yeah, so gonna burn the Force Heal Stone on the VIP pass. Definitely not the way you want to spend that card necessarily. It always feels kind of bad when you have to, burn the Force Heal Stone that early on turn 1. But the hand kind of filled with supporters and some like late game Pokemon that you don't really want to put down right now. So Hedrick able to make the most out of it, and he's gonna be switch over to James' turns here, and we'll see what he's able to do here.
It's going to come down to how good of a start this is. Colress is definitely step 1 of the perfect turn 2, or sorry, yeah, the perfect first turn going second for Tina V-Star. Ideally, you would cram, but it is pretty tough to do if you don't start comfy.
Yeah, it's definitely not the ideal starter one here. Curious what we're going to see off of the Colress here. Ooh, losing both those switches. That's tough.
So we're going to go into comfy now. Do they have enough gas in the tank? Do they have a VIP pass? I think even with the Dragonite V in play, you really, really want to take that first KO as Tina.
All right, here comes the VIP pass.
So here is step 2, VIP pass, Colress. Do we see the comfy cram grab? Are there more switch cards left? No comfy and Giratina, and I think that probably indicates that there is no additional switch in the hand to guarantee that attack. Or maybe they're just choosing to go for the Bizseeking and get close to the Sableye, basically saying that, hey, if I attack with Cram, I'm not going to get a Giratina V down this turn, and it's going to be in danger. So Bizseeking makes sense if the hand is bad, and we'll see how that works itself out in the following turns.
Yeah, looking at the list here, James plays 3 copies each of Switch Cart and Switch. So you saw 2, basically 2 of those switches hit the loss zone, and 2 of the Switch cards obviously find their uses also. So only a limited amount of those options left. So we'll see if that affects things in the late game here. Gonna go for flower selecting here, see what our options are. Escape rope, easy choice.
I think it is awkward having to bench that Dragonite, but I still would prefer to be on the turbo side of this matchup for sure. You have so much control, you have so much more reach with those lost vacuums to hit your Sableye. I don't know if it's going to happen this turn though, but something that could happen this turn potentially is Moonlight Shuriken.
Yeah, definitely something you have to be wary of. No Manaphy on the bench.
I'm not even sure if James plays the Manaphy. No, he doesn't. So
no, he doesn't.
This is kind of like the turbo Tina build that we've kind of seen here and there. Plays no Manaphy, plays those trekking shoes. Kind of an interesting take on Tina. Probably a little bit more consistent than the traditional ways of playing it. but it does mean you are susceptible to those Moonlight Shurikens.
Yeah, it could potentially be an option here. Going to grab the Colress right there. Conceal card still an option here for Andrew. But looks like
I think he has it. I think the Vacuum is going to put Andrew up to 7, maybe even past it. I don't remember. But with the Water in hand and the Mirage Gate and the Switch Cart, Moonlight Shuriken going to come through, going to take 2 knockouts, and basically put James in a really, really bad spot.
Yep, just like you said, Vic. There you go. Going to put that on his own man if he, just in case. That's what's going to come out, and we are going to see the Moonlight Shuriken strike here, and that is going to be, looks like debating, but looks like it's going to be 1 to the bench Kofi, and 1 to the active.
Yeah, in theory, you could knock out the Sableye as well, but I think given that James is not at 10 yet, I think it makes the most sense to knock out both Comfies here. But I guess what Andrew is deciding between is that if they're at 8, which I think they are, they're just a Colress away from being able to attack that with that Lost Mine. So maybe going for the Sableye might end up being a little bit better, and they go with that route. I think it's pretty close either way.
All right, getting Artisan off the prize cards, so... Well, and the Water Energy off the second one, so... Forgot that the game makes you watch both those animations before you take your prize cards.
Two prizes, 4 to 6. The game isn't over. There's always the chance of like disruption happening and whatnot. But Andrew still feeling really good about where he is.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't have asked for a better turn 2 there. Everything, just having everything in hand, just to make it work is real good stuff. So the Colress gonna hit the deck here for James. So no hand disruption this turn for Andrew. You can kind of sit back and relax a little bit. I'm curious what we're gonna see hit the Lost Zone here. What we're gonna see hit the bench. My Grass Energy and Chorus hits the deck itself. Dragon Shoe's going to come out, discard a path, and put us just a little bit further here.
I mean, James has to attack this turn, or else he's going to be very hopelessly behind. And I don't know what attack is best. You can't really boss the Dragonite this turn because of the Chorus, and Sableye is going to be tough given that one of them is already in the discard, so it might just be Cram, but Cram into Radiant Greninja feels so bad.
Yeah, no, it feels rough, again, just out of range of getting the knockout there, so, we'll see what the response is here.
Another Water Energy. Thankfully, there's no way for Andrew to take 2 more prizes with this Moonlight Shuriken, but he could potentially Moonlight Shuriken and hit the Cram for 90 and set it up so that he's in a really good spot with the damage on the board and use Sableye to clean that up later. But that would put him in Roxanne range, so maybe he doesn't want to do that. Maybe just wants to start spreading some damage like we saw last game.
Yeah, no, the ever underlying threat of Roxanne feels like it's really going through both of these guys' minds right now, being very careful about when they go for the prize KO to put you in the threshold. So that card again in a sea of great disruption cards right now, in standard, Roxanne still continues to be one of the best.
Definitely super good in the Lost Box deck, especially because you don't necessarily want to Iono yourself in the late game. You want to make sure that you have enough combo pieces in hand to chain those attackers back to back to back. Roxanne. But I mean, obviously there's also the downside though, as we're seeing here, that you can't play it half the time. And if your opponent chooses to respect it, chooses to play around it, it doesn't do you much good. And both players playing around it, but someone is going to have to cave in eventually. And we'll see if Andrew bites the bullet this turn or just starts to spread some damage first.
You're going to get one of each energy back into the deck here. And immediately going to hit the Mirage Gate.
We could see Moonlight Shuriken and like maybe just hit Tina and Cram or Greninja and Cram. I don't think we're going to see the Comfy knockout here. Just because of that Roxanne that we were talking about before. But spreading some damage definitely seems good. Especially with your opponent not having the full access to the 4 switch cards for the healing that we were talking about before.
Yeah, just softening up the walls definitely seems like a good option right now. So looks like we're gonna go for that exact play once again.
If you could help it, I guess you would probably want to take 4 prizes without even damaging the Tina V-Star. But it's not guaranteed that you can. There's only 3 1-prizers in play. So you might want to soften it up a little bit, or you might say like, hey, I'm going to Dragonite it later in the game, maybe to end the game. That could be an option as well. Hedrick, I think, is really choosing. It's a tough choice. I think both are pretty valid.
Yeah, no, definitely one of those tough decisions you kind of run into in the road here. And I think it's just going to be, like we stated, just kind of splitting up to 90. Between both sides now, so we'll see what the response is here from James.
The one benefit of this play and not damaging the Tina V-Star is if Andrew finds Echoing Horn before James finds Super Rod, you can just take 4 1-prizer knockouts, and it's going to be super, super easy with these 2 already super damaged. But as I speak it into existence, there is the Super Rod, so that play not going to happen this game, I don't think. Ooh, wait, there's still a Comfy. Okay, so a Comfy is left behind, and James needed to put some energy back, so it can still happen. The Horn can play a pretty pivotal role.
All right, here comes the Mirage Gate from James.
Okay, so now Horn doesn't even matter, because Sableye was benched. The Tina V-Star not going to attack this turn. And in this case, man, the game... with 4 1-prizers in play and 2 of them being so close to being knocked out, that feels so bad. I don't know how James can come back from this one.
Yeah, it's looking awfully tough right now. Greninja putting in his work today for sure.
Yes.
Definitely getting his full 40 hours worth.
Turns out, if your opponent doesn't play Manaphy, Moonlight Shuriken is a good attack.
Wild concept. All right,
Pokemon really printed rapid flow on a card that draws cards.
I would have loved to have been in that pitch meeting for sure. So
we do say goodbye to Greninja. Not going to get that triple Greninja value. Well, actually, it still could. I think it honestly... Clara for it, and then Super Rod, and then Mirage Gate. That might actually be the play. We'll see if that happens. No, it looks like Andrew might just set up double Sableye, and that might be a little bit safer because then you have an attack no matter what your opponent does. I think that makes a lot of sense here. 2 switch cards, deciding if they want another Super Rod or if the chorus is good. Taking the 2 Sableye, I don't remember how many Psychic Energy are in deck, but that could potentially...
I believe it's... I think I have his list up right here.
So it's 3 Psychic.
Correct.
The question is how many are in the discard pile and lost zone. I don't remember. I don't know if... I guess my question is it possible to attach Psychic to both the Sableyes this turn? Because that would pretty much checkmate the game. If you can only attach to 1 Sableye, the game isn't over yet.
Right, for sure.
I guess it... Well, I say that, but Hedrick doesn't have to take any more knockouts this turn, I guess. I guess that's the route that Hedrick is taking, where he'll just Sableye and start spreading some damage and probably not go down to 3 prizes and just win the game that way.
Night Escape Rope coming out here, forcing a new Pokemon to the active for James.
The Greninja has 40 HP remaining. The Cram has 20. And then Sableye Add that up, 140, and then Comfy, that's 210. So 2 Sableyes would close out the game here. But that is not accounting for any switch cards that are played. So we might see switch card come into action here. That will be key. And I think you just put all on the Sableye, and you don't put any on the Comfy because you don't want. You want. Oh, he actually took a knockout. Okay, because you kind of have. I guess I would have put 10 on the Comfy, I think, instead of taking a knockout here, because you can get Roxanne. I think it was a misplay based off that thumbs down emoji.
I love it when they use the in-game chat client to chat with you. It's so funny.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that it exists, so we can tell that it was a misplay.
Yeah, you're
what the players are thinking.
Yeah. I don't like it when I brick turn one of my opponent gives you the thumbs up. I think that's I find that very rude if you do that, but nonetheless though. Let's hit a super rod coming in here. All right, Nestfall's going to come down for James once again. You got to bench the second Sableye.
Thanks to that misplay, there is a chance that James wins now. So I guess this is a win for the viewer. We have a match. It's exciting. Things are happening. Roxanne definitely has to come down this turn, and you definitely have to knock out the Sableye with Psychic Energy. Those are basically the two things that have to happen for this to be a game still.
Yep, only 9 cards left in the deck, so we are very much near the potential end of this journey here.
There are so many cards that Hedrick could draw into that are good, that enable this second Sableye attack. Mirage Gate, Clara, Chorus, and so on. So the odds of Roxanne winning the game for James are slim, but they are there. Definitely possible.
For sure, see the switch come out here.
So James has to take a knockout here, take a knockout next turn, and then probably take a knockout on the Dragonite. Is probably the line. Oh, we see Roxanne and Chorus for Andrew. So things are looking pretty good for any Andrew Hedrick fans.
Yeah, nothing gets the brain juices flowing better than, getting Iona to 2 or Roxanne to 2, and like both are cards that help replenish your hand. So it's like,
yeah,
nothing quite makes the brain feel a little bit better than that.
The additional damage going on to this Sableye, I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right, there we go. Knockout on Andrew's Sableye.
Only 1 Psychic in the discard. We may be witnessing another quick 2-0. Psychic Energy off that Chorus, and I think that's it.
Yep.
I think there's only 3 prizes left, and there's tons of damage on the board. James sees the writing on the wall, concedes, and another fast 2-0.
Yep, excellent stuff right there from Andrew. And yep, and we'll switch back to our cast review, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So hang tight for 2 seconds, folks. And we are back. It's us again. It's our beautiful faces, if you already forgot what we look like. But, yeah, listen, 2 very, very strong games there from Andrew. Again, no surprise to see him performing well in these late nights. Performs well offline as well. Definitely maybe trying to fine-tune some stuff. Before Sacramento, we are, after what feels like, kind of a little bit of a slow start to the season for everybody, Vic. We're now back into Turbo Drive. We have back-to-back-to-back weekends, I believe, of
True.
Pokemon action. So I can't say that I am not excited, because I am. I think it's fun, and we got some new cards to play with, and how are you liking things? 151 right now. Or how are you feeling that things are going for you and your testing, and where you're lying moving forward into the weekend.
I think the meta is pretty wide and pretty. There's a lot of variety in it, which is really cool. I some personally, there's nothing that I am super happy with, and I'm super excited about. There's no like for NAIC, I was really excited about Turbo Lost Box. For Orlando, I was really excited for Turbo Lost Box last year. Turbo Lost Box definitely a good deck as we just saw on stream, but it's not as strong as it used to be. It feels like maybe it's just a little slightly bit worse because of all the new toys that all the other decks are getting, while Turbo Lost Box is kind of the same as it always has been. So that part of it I'm not super happy about, but it is a very cool meta, a very wide meta. I can't break it. There's nothing super broken that I have come up with, which is not fun for me, but it's fun for everyone else. So I give the card designers props. I think it's a very fair and balanced meta.
We love to see it. There's just simply a lot of good decks right now. Speaking
Yeah.
of Pokemon, it looks like we're Saint and Takumi are in game 2. You want to head over and to take a look at that?
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right, and we have returned, folks. Looks like we are currently in the middle of some of what potentially be the end game here. Saint is up one game here, playing Lost Box against Takumi's Mew VMAX deck.
This matchup is pretty interesting. We do see that there is a Kyogre in this Lost Box hand, but maybe not going to come into play. Actually, it might have to. There's only one prize left, but there's no way to take an easy knockout next turn, so it might come down to Kyogre or nothing.
Yeah, it's possible. As we see, Takumi is moving right now. Again, just kind of looking at the deck list here. It looks pretty akin to what we saw. Rowan and Colin pilot this past weekend. Obviously, minus Rowan's edition of Luxray. But we see a couple of 3 copies of the Grabber. Very heavy item count, just kind of really leaning on Mew VMAX as your one and only true attacker in this deck. So the DTE Mew looks like it seems to be back in favor right now. Like, we could talk a little bit about that in between games, but right now, yeah, we see Saint is also moving right now.
Looks like Saints won game 1 and it potentially is about to win game 2 off of this Dragonite V. Is there an Escape Rope in deck? I feel like there must be. Given that Forest Seal Stone, and there is. So Escape Rope, no Mew V match on the bench. Takumi did not hit that, so that's gonna close it out.
Yeah, and there we go.
Another caught the tail end of another 2-0 here.
There we go. All right, so excellent stuff right there. From Saint, Lost Box supremacy. I heard you all like Lost Box, so great stuff right there. They're gonna move on to play against the other match we didn't see yet. It looks like Jefferson Silva 1-2-0. Playing from Brazil, rocking the Rapid Strike box. So we'll talk about that in just a second as we flip back to our other hub. Oh, and it's us again. That box always opens at the bottom. Terrible. Anyway, we're back. So that concludes our first round of matches there. So it's Saint moving on to fight against Jefferson, and they're gonna have Melfo and Andrew going up against each other. So 3 lost boxes and Urshifu all walk into top 4.
I would be lying if I said that if these were not the decks that I was considering for Sacramento. I maybe that's a little bit of a leak. Maybe someone will pick up on this and be like, "Hey, you're playing one of those decks." But I will say, for the benefit of the audience, I think these two decks are really strong right now, and I think I enjoy both of them quite a bit.
Yeah, welcome to Late Night 142, the stream of Victor's consciousness. If you guys are paying attention at home, so yeah, listen, I can't, I do not have the gusto nor the education to play to play Lost Box to pilot at a comfortable level. I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of like the Thinking Man's decks, like Gardevoir and Lost Box. Like it's very. I like knowing that all my decisions matter and they could come back to haunt me, later. Just practicing with the high skill ceiling decks, it keeps me fresh as a player, and it helps me kind of sequence through like, okay, what should I be looking for here? But yeah, I can't say that wasn't something that crossed my mind, before I'm heading out to Toronto in a couple weeks, so I'm still kind of in between decks of what I want to play right now because I've been playing Mew for the last like month or so, and I'm just like, there's a lot of Charizard out there, and that card's scary, and everybody's got a Drapion in their trade binder that they can just easily throw back into their deck. So it's like, I'm definitely scouting out to get some funky fresh ideas, and like you talked about at the top, there's just so many decks in the meta right now. It's just like, there feels like there's only like a seldom amount of what you could consider a bad choice right now, because everything just feels really, really good.
There's at least 10 decks that are playable and you could win the tournament with, and it would not be that surprising to see, and that's really neat. It does make it so that you can't come up with like a broken counter box deck, which I also personally enjoy coming up with. Because you can't. How can you counter 10 things in 60 cards? It's just not. It's just not easy. It's
not enough space.
It's usually not possible. Yeah. But it is cool, and it is. It's been a while since the Pokemon TCG has had this much variety. So I think it's a very neat thing to see.
All right, so I'm gonna switch over to Saints match. Looks like he's streaming right now. So let's go check that out. All right, and we are here at the start of Game 1 between Saint and Jefferson. So like we said, Lost Box going up against Rapid Strike Urshifu here. Again, a deck we teased this deck when we commented together last time, Vic, but unfortunately it was just not in the cards. But in an era where we're seeing some deck archetypes kind of have a renaissance period, the rappers like Urshifu is definitely a candidate for like the best for comeback player of the format for sure.
Urshifu showed up big when it first came out with in the Players Cups back in the COVID era. It did really well on those online tournaments, alongside stuff like Chinchino and Melanie, and then it died because Mew VMAX came out. But then people were like, okay, wait, if Mew VMAX is the only way to beat Urshifu, what if I just play it with Dark Guys? And then it came back again, and then it died again, and then it came back again here with the Inteleon version. And if there's one matchup to see Urshifu in action, to see Inteleon Urshifu in action, it's probably this one.
Yeah, no, for sure. You have these huge, HP Pokemon in Inteleon and Urshifu that you have to deal with, and being able to being able to move damage around with Alakazam and Double Gunner obviously is tricky, and then just being able to hit the bench with Gmax Rapid Flow is potent stuff. It really speaks for how this matchup could potentially kind of roll out of control if you're not careful. But looks like a pretty strong start here for Saint.
So I think most people are pretty aware that Urshi and Inteleon feel pretty good into most Lost Box decks because, for example, the Comfy only has 7 HP, so you can get those Yoga Loops off pretty easily. I will say, though, I think people overestimate how good the matchup is for Urshi. I think Lost Box definitely can do some tricky stuff. Basically, the best win condition that Lost Box has is if they can Greninja Moonlight Shuriken this turn, and it has to be this turn before the Remoraid evolves into Octillery. And we're still a little bit a ways away there needs to be a Lost Vacuum combo here, along with this Mirage Gate, to kind of pull it off. But there is a Pokestop, so it's still possible.
There we go. We're gonna spin the wheel, see what we get here. 3 item cards. I guess you could realistically use the VIP pass if you want to, but still kind of you're just missing that last piece that you might potentially need.
Yeah, 3 items is good, but none of them being Lost Vacuum is bad. And hitting 110 into an Inteleon, that's not where you want to be. We'll see if the Urshifu player has the cards to punish this slower start that this Kyogre Lost Box deck has.
Yeah, only 5 cards in the hand right now. And obviously one of the big things is going to be, can you get the Octillery online? That is really like, the glue that holds this deck together, being able to grab any Rapid Strike card you want with Rapid Strike Search, whether it be, this your Stadium, your energy cards. As long as it says it on the corner of the card, you're chilling. And I'm just going to see the Medicham hit the bench here. Again, another thing you have to, pay attention to is that once the damage starts moving around here, Yoga Loop is obviously something you have to worry about. In the late stage of this game, just another wrinkle that makes this deck really, really, scary to game plan against sometimes.
Yeah, I think Yoga Loop super, super powerful, and we do see the Octillery that you were mentioning. That is basically the only engine that the deck runs. Octillery super, super important, and research filling up the hand to 7. Something to note is that the deck, I will say Turbo is maybe not as unfavored into Urshifu as people think, but Kyogre a little bit slower, usually plays less Lost Vacuum and whatnot, so it's harder to get that turn 1 Moonlight Shuriken, and that's where Urshifu finds its stride. If your opponent is off to a slow start, you can punish that so heavily, and we might see that starting this turn.
Also, I was today years old when I found out there was a golden version of Octillery. I did not know that they made a gold version of that card. That's very funny. I use the
pre-release version myself. I like that one.
I like the Trainer Gallery one where he's like on the pier or whatever.
Gallery's cool too.
Yeah, that one's choice. Octillery's, shouts to Octillery. Great Pokemon.
Something that chat brought up is that this Kyogre list does feature 2 copies of Bravery Charm, and Bravery Charm has its charms, if you will.
Hey-o.
But I do agree that seeing 2 copies of it is a little bit weird. I don't know where you get the most value out of that card, but it could come up in this matchup. Your opponent is looking to try and Yoga Loop a Comfey, and suddenly it has 50 more HP. Could potentially play a role.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a viable candidate. I guess if you want to maybe try to keep your Raikou alive a little bit longer as well, but yeah, you're most likely being hit for weakness in that case anyway, most likely. So definitely feels like it's a candidate for the Comfeys here. But here we go. The Gale Thrust going to do its max amount of damage as Urshifu does switch into the active this turn. So now the big guy is set up here. Let us see how Saint responds here. We're going to conceal some cards first before we do anything else. There's a vacuum you're looking for.
Yeah. And it's a little bit too late for that one, unfortunately. You can't... Now if you Moonlight Shuriken, it wouldn't knock out Octillery, so there's not much good in it. And if you Sableye the Octillery, sure, that kind of stifles your opponent's consistency, but there's a big Urshifu staring you down right now, and that could potentially be a problem. So you would maybe have to knock out the Octillery and then also get rid of the Tower of Waters and then bench Manaphy so the Urshi can't Rapid Flow, and then maybe you're in a decent spot.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here that you have to play around with, and of course you have that Tower of Waters now in the active. It's going to make things, it makes things like bossing up something to get it stuck in the active like less potent because they simply just retreat for free because Rapid Strike gets all the broken stadiums. Shout out to Tower of Darkness.
That stadium is really good and definitely a key part into why the deck works. Something to note though is that you did mention the strategy of boss stalling, and that can definitely come up in this matchup. If the Lost Box player plays the boss, you can boss up Alakazam, and usually Urshifu only plays 1 escape rope, so it's really hard to find that 1 escape rope, and then you start Sableye spreading and whatnot. But because this is a Kyogre list, I think that win condition doesn't exist. Yeah, I don't see a boss's orders in the deck list, so unfortunately, It's getting more and more dire by the minute. Thankfully, though, the clock hasn't started yet. The timer hasn't begun yet because these Inteleon Vs didn't evolve last turn.
No, yeah, that's obviously huge as well. In combination of everything we mentioned, once your opponent starts double gunnering, your bench, and just to kind of also help correct math in their favor, it just really.
Oh,
Oof! Here we go.
That might have been a mistake. I think they maybe tried to Mirage Gate to a Psychic Energy on. Oh, well, maybe it was just for the retreat because they have Psychic Energy in hand and can attach. So maybe it was intentional, and they just wanted the retreat there. I think taking the Raikou knockout, would it have been good? Maybe you just save it for Inteleon VMAX. So
yeah,
instead of the Raikou knockout, they're probably just gonna Lost Mine, actually attaching the Bravery Charm to the Sableyes. So something to note here is that this Sableye now can, 130 HP. Does that matter? It does still get knocked out by Inteleon VMAX, with that Gmax Spiral. It doesn't get knocked out by Urshifu's Gale Thrust because Sableye has fighting resistance. So maybe that could come into play. Maybe that's part of the reason the Bravery Charm is attached here.
Truly, the stuff of nightmares is a Sableye with slightly more HP.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Sableye with 130 health before. To be
I hate it. I'm terrified. So let's see what the response is here on Jefferson's side.
I think getting rid of that auxiliary, though, definitely the right play. One of your best win conditions here is just hoping that your opponent can't do much this turn, and I think the most likely way that happens is getting rid of the auxiliary, because if the auxiliary was still active, you could get back the Tower of Waters, you could get Karinas to draw some cards, stuff like that. But in this case, just Irida for Inteleon VMAX and Escape Rope. We might see the rope into another Gale Thrust, or we might even see a Rapid Flow this turn if there's an energy. No Manaphy coming down for the side of Saint.
Yeah, this could be a huge turn here. Then again, Irida, we talked about great consistency cards in this deck. If you play any sort of a water deck, Irida is just like, it's smooth like butter. It's real good stuff. So you see the Escape Rope hit the deck here. It's going to bring Urshifu VMAX up to the active. Like I said,
there an energy? That is the question.
Yeah, 5 cards.
A Gale Thrust. Energy retrieval. Okay. So 2 waters in hand. Now, here is the interesting thing. You could just take 2 knockouts on 2 comfies with the with the Gmash Rapid Flow. Or you could even do 120 to like Greninja, for example, and set it up for Yoga Loop if your hand supports that, and you like have a Rapid Strike energy in hand or something like that. But it seems like they're just going to go for the double knockout onto Sableye and Greninja, which makes sense if their hand is bad. You just kind of want to take prizes to draw cards. And I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, it looks like that is indeed the case here. Mostly just kind of weighing things over. See Painful Spoons to can kind of correct some damage around.
We've got a message in chat. What other matchup is Bravery Charm valuable in? And I think it's most useful on Dragonite, I will say. If you, for example, you're against Charizard and you Bravery Charm your Dragonite, they have no way of knocking that out until you start to take prizes. So I think that's probably one of the key reasons to play it.
All right, so a great turn there for the Urshifu player. See the top deck is a water energy, and board state not looking that great right now for Saint. Does have the Raikou in hand, so you can possibly get maybe set something up on that Urshifu the Inteleon VMAX if you can possibly get it out into the active, but not sure if that's going to be an option available to him here again.
I think evolving that Inteleon is about to backfire so hard. I think so Okay, so basically the Kyogre is live. There's 5 cards in deck. It's possible to go for the Kyogre, and if you do get 200 damage off, you can take 5 prizes. You don't even need the full 250. You just need 200. Can it happen this turn?
Oh, that could be possibly the play here. So you see the thinning out of.
I mean, Jefferson, I guess he was worried about the Raikou, and that's why he evolved the Inteleon V that had the damage on it instead of the Inteleon V that was undamaged. And he was like, well, you know, my Inteleon V Max is just gonna get one shot by Raikou anyway. It doesn't matter which one I evolve. I might as well evolve the damaged one. But could get punished so hard here with Kyogre, and I think they're gonna go for it this turn. There's 3 cards in the deck, so I think it's guaranteed. You just have to switch card into another Comfey, and then go down to 1 in deck, and then you have the 2 recyclers. I don't know how many. Okay, I guess I don't know how many energy on the discard. That could
Right.
make the difference.
Yeah, I did not peek when they looked into their discard just then. So
Flower selecting. There is a retreat available to put 1 more energy in the discard. I don't know what the last card in the deck is, but you only need 6 energy to make this play work, and there's 6. So I think it's guaranteed. I think the Kyogre is going to come through, going to clean this game up.
there you go. Recycler coming through here. So
Gate over to the Kyogre, going to attach for turn, and the full 250 isn't guaranteed, but you don't need it. It's perfect math. 120 on that Inteleon V. Going to take 5 prizes off of this Aqua Storm, and suddenly a matchup that we were talking about how it's usually favored for the Urshifu, just going to swing in the direction of Kyogre. Oh, are they going to put in the Medicham?
oh my goodness, that would.
They're just giving us a heart attack for no reason.
Yeah, don't you hate it when your mouse just curves to the left when you're playing Pokemon? Wow, a 5 prize card turn. Oh, bravo, excellent stuff right there. From say, like you said, the evolving the the Inteleon there proved to be not good stuff. For Jefferson. So
That was, I don't know if. I think if you don't evolve the damaged Inteleon, I think you're in a really great spot because you can threaten Yoga Loop. I guess it depends on the hand. We know that the hand probably wasn't very good before they took the 2 prizes. Maybe it was a lot better after them. Not sure. But the Urshifu player definitely had some routes to win if they evolved the undamaged Inteleon.
all right, so we're getting into game 2 here. So let's see what the response is going to be here for Jefferson. Again, Saint trying to keep with the times right now, Vic. It's like, hey, lost Kyogre, she's winning everything. So why is it? I guess now it's my turn to win a tournament. So
yeah, lost Kyogre winning both Pittsburgh and Peoria. It's definitely a very strong deck, and it doesn't really have any matchups where you are really disadvantaged in. I think its worst matchup is actually probably Turbo, where it's kind of like a mirror. You're kind of like doing the same thing of like Sableye, but the deck that doesn't have to play the Recyclers and the Kyogre and just gets to play extra consistency, like something like we saw from Andrew, right? That deck would be favored into Kyogre.
yeah, definitely. Lost box stocks are high right now for sure.
Yes. Another weakness of Kyogre is the time rules at regionals, but that doesn't exist here online in the late night series. You can just play your best of 3 as long as you want to your heart's content.
Yep. Time is infinite.
Yeah. We'll be here all night if we need to.
All right, so that's going to be turn 1 for Jefferson. Top deck in the VIP pass. Seems like that card's always there when you need it.
Let's see if the Greninja play can happen this time. The hand is pretty good for it. 2 vacuums. So it kind of depends on what these flower selections give. We definitely need Colress. That is for sure. Counting up every single card because every single card is crucial in this deck. Knowing the difference between knowing if 1 energy is prized or 2 energy is prized or 0 energy is prized is like absolutely key in this deck.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, like it makes you kind of thankful that at least on live it kind of like puts everything in order for you. So it's like really makes prize checking just like that much easier.
In real life, I also sort the deck to find Pokemon energy, but you can't sort all the trainers as well, so it's definitely it's definitely tougher. Ooh, with 3 cards hitting the discard, no items. So the Greninja play I was trying to hype up definitely not gonna happen now.
Yeah, Pokestop is a cruel mistress. Sometimes like I like my gut wrenched so many times watching, one player hit everything and then the other player just getting absolutely nothing. Like
something like I don't know if this was like with the benefit of hindsight, it seemed like the wrong play to Pokestop there because Saint could have Town Stored for 4 Sealstone, which would have grabbed Chorus. I can't say for certain that it was the wrong play to Pokestop. I think Pokestop hitting like VIP pass, for example, would be pretty good. But did get punished a little bit for the greed.
All right, Karina's Focus gonna come out, get a fresh hand of 6 here. We want to check the prizes. Take all the hard part out of the prize checking. Just simply play the card and let you do it.
I guess if he did play the Town Store, he would have had 2 vacuum targets because you would have grabbed the Forest Sealstone, then you would have Chorus, then you have 2 vacuums. So all you really need to hit is gate off that Chorus, and you would have been in a pretty good spot to attack with Raikou at least. And maybe you're scared of the Urshifu response, but I think it might be better than just doing nothing. Or maybe you say that your opponent they don't play boss. Urshifu doesn't play boss, so maybe it's okay to hold on to this Raikou for later and try to get more value out of it. It's tough. This deck has so many lines that some of them are really, really close to each other.
Yeah. Definitely tough stuff. For sure. Here we go.
So we see the retreat into the Urshifu. Is there going to be a rapid flow? No. Just the 100 Furious Blows.
Not the funniest of names that Pokemon's come up with, but just very, very silly stuff. So getting on the board first.
What is the name of Iron Hands' attack again?
Amp you very much.
What does that even mean? It's so funny.
Whoever give that guy a raise, whoever named that card. that guy gets it. Like that guy reads the comment section and he knows.
Soon it'll be you and me on a late night saying "amp you very much" for game.
They need to make the counter card for whatever beats Iron Hands, like a "You're Welcome" card or something. Like,
yeah.
No amp you. Like, you guys get that one for free. So
yeah. The attack is no amp you, and it just says if your opponent's Pokemon is Iron Hands EX, knock it out. Anyways, on to the Urshifu. Something that I did notice is that you can attack with the Urshifu V kind of safely, not fully safely, but kind of safely, because you didn't bench the Urshifu player here in this situation. Jefferson did not bench 5 Pokemon, so the Urshifu is not in range of this Raikou V knocking it out. So that's something to keep in mind. So I don't know what the best play is here. Maybe Sableye the Auxiliary, as we saw last game, that could potentially be an option.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 2 flower selectings down so far. It looks like we're going to see the bump to the stadium with the Town Store, and we're going to do a little bit of shopping. So
grabbing maybe the Bravery Charm over the Forest Sealstone because maybe they don't need anything off of the Forest Sealstone and it's just going to vacuum the Bravery Charm away. I think that could be the play here. They were like, we already have a Chorus in hand. I don't want to use a Sealstone yet. I just want to save it for later. Oh, but actually just going to pass it over. I thought we were going to see a double vacuum into gate into attack with Sableye, but no. I think it's just going to be a pass.
Alrighty, so once again, going to the town store themselves.
Giving your opponent a forest sealstone.
Yeah, that's like the tough part about town store. Like obviously it's nice being able to get the tool cards that you need in these scenarios, but like your opponent's most likely playing the same tool card, so it's like giving your opponent a free for a seal stone, like to get whatever, or a ban to correct math, like just feels really bad. So it's like as fun as the stadium I think it is, it's just not, I don't know. It's giving your opponent something for free like that just feels icky.
I think it definitely has its downsides for sure. Same with Artisan, I guess.
Yeah.
In chat, we're seeing that double vacuum might have been 9, so I might have miscounted how many are in the lost zone. So in that case, I guess the best play is to just pass if there's only 5 in the lost zone right now.
All right, discard the energy.
Because double vac would only get to 9, that means there was a pass. That means nothing really happens this turn, which means the Urshifu player is in a great spot. They just need to draw some more cards, put some more damage. The Bravery Charm and the Comfy kind of annoying, but you can still Yoga Loop the Sableye just fine. Especially with Alakazam moving some damage counters around.
Alright, you're going to hit the deck here, so going to grab energy retrieval and another Inteleon.
Or double gunners, it seems. Gonna come through. The hand, only 1 card remaining. And supporter already played for turn. Something that could matter is if Saint knocks out the Octillery and then vacuums away that Seal Stone that they grabbed. Could potentially break them.
Yeah, it's possible here. Kind of just thinking it over, immediately gonna pop the Forest Seal Stone. So, let's see what Jefferson gets. Most likely something to hopefully replenish her hand.
Okay, yeah, I think they're gonna Seal Stone early. Oh, Metacham. Are they gonna Metacham this turn? Do they have the Rapid Strike energy in hand? They might have Seal Stone for the Metacham.
Looks like
sorry, they haven't Rapid Strike searched yet. Okay, that makes sense. So they're gonna Yoga Loop this turn. Seal Stone for the Metacham, Rapid Strike search for the Rapid Strike energy, and their opponent not gonna even have the opportunity to make that play I was mentioning.
Yep, there we go. The attachment for turn.
1 card left in hand, probably just hard retreating, discarding that Rapid Strike energy. You play a couple of them, not a big deal. But this is so powerful because there's no mana fee on the bench. So if you're able to follow up this with a Rapid Flow, that could be very impactful.
All right, so excellent stuff right there. The second turn will now commence here for Jefferson. Definitely the, it's such great stuff. what a great attack.
It is really neat that there is a card in the game that lets you take another turn and is not just like absolutely broken.
Yeah,
it is pretty cool. It feels broken when you get to do it, but it doesn't like actually centralize the meta or make people feel terrible about playing any other deck. So it's pretty cool, pretty neat.
Yeah, watching somebody who's never played against this deck before play against it recently, and there's like no, there's no way that's what that attack does, right? I'm just like, oh, first time, like. All right, Tower Water's hitting the floor here, so
Rapid Strike search. We might see a Rapid Flow. We saw the research discarding more research. I think 2 other research were discarded, but if you can find the Urshifu VMAX, that's all you need. Oh, okay. No, we're just gonna see a Gmax Spiral instead.
All right. In position, you're gonna get double gunner, discard, put a couple of damage counters across the board here, soften everybody up a little bit.
The position is not great for Saint, our Lost Box character player. The one thing that you can take solace in, though, is that you probably can get a KO on this Inteleon VMAX with your Raikou V. And the game isn't instantly over. You do have to find Manaphy, though. Because if you don't find Manaphy, this Urshifu is in prime rapid flow position.
Yeah, definitely have to do something here as we take a look at the two off the player selecting. Gonna grab the Roxanne.
There's no way to get Manaphy anymore, I don't think. And Roxanne can't be played.
Yeah, so, it might just be an unfortunate situation here.
I mean, it's possible. No, it's not possible. It's just guaranteed, right? Saint has the Rapid Strike energy in hand from the Spiral and just has a Rapid Strike search for the Urshifu VMAX, right?
Right.
So you either choose to take the knockout with the Raikou and now it's subject to weakness, or you don't knock it out and you just pass, and that can't be good either. So
no.
You see the rope also having to come through, so you won't even get the 3-prize KO on the Inteleon if your opponent doesn't want you to. You can bring up... I guess you wouldn't bring up Alakazam because you might not retreat. If your opponent chooses to not attack, you could get punished.
Right.
I think you just bring up Medicham. I think Medicham has done its duty. Send it off.
Yeah, give it the goodbye, or give it the 160 he deserves.
Yeah.
Vacuum away the vacuum to get rid of the stadium.
Not even knocking out Medicham. What a shame.
Gotta love those Rondo attacks.
Urshifu VMAX, Rapid Strike Energy, and looks like we're gonna get a game 3.
All right, so what's been a sea of game 2s, game 2 finishes for us tonight, Vic. We are going to see the fabled game 3. So,
if this was a regional, this would have just been a tie. For however it takes so long, especially if you have to do all that shuffling. There's no way you can finish all 3 games in 50 minutes.
Yeah, no. I don't care how fast from a player you think you are. There's no way this game is finishing in that amount of time.
I don't care how many prizes Urshifu takes in one turn. It still takes a long time.
Yep, there we go. Just gonna shave us a few seconds off there. It's just like, you sure you really want you to take all the prize cards before you're done? It's like, all right, man. Let's wrap things up here. All right, going into that fate.
Yeah, Jefferson Saint 1-1, and I believe Melfo is up 1-0 on Andrew right now, just to keep you posted. And Melfo is playing that Lost Tina, but this time with the Manaphy. So the matchup still probably in Andrew's favor. Andrew could swing it back, but it is a lot more even than the top 4 match we witnessed, top 8 match we witnessed, where there was no Manaphy.
All right, like I said, the winner of that's going to go on to face the winner of this match. So, again, it could be another Lost Box, quote-unquote, mirror in some cases, or it could be Rapid Strike stepping up to the plate. So, we'll see how it pans out here in game number 3. Saint opting to go first.
So if I told you had to play one of these 2 decks to Toronto, which one would you choose?
Urshifu. Urshifu's so cool.
Yeah.
This is actually a deck I was ooh, yikes, that's not a great that's less than ideal though, but we'll see what the rest of the hand looks like. No, I love this is a deck I was thinking about playing. But I don't have any Inteleon cards, and those cards are actually kind of expensive, which is
yeah, they're hard to find because they're on the older side.
Yeah, so I was just really why am I paying? They're like gas money expensive. We're just ugh, it's a little rich for my blood right now. But I just think Urshifu is just so sick. I just think he's such a cool Pokemon. So that's an easy choice for me though. Though I do enjoy like the intricacies of an Aqua Storm. Like I like I like watching I like counting down the cards when you get down to 0 and all you have left is energy cards for the
Game
win.
1 was pretty hype.
Yeah, no, I think I just this deck in concept, just being able, like as a spectator from the outside, I think it's a lot of fun to watch be piloted at a high level. So right now we are seeing the wheels turning right now for Saint as we are getting things moving along here. Immediately going to get into the second flower selecting.
So for the first time, we're going to see Saint going first, and I think that is a huge difference maker in the matchup because Saint now already has 2 cards in the Lost Zone, really close to being able to Mirage Gate, which means he's really close to being able to Moonlight Shuriken and Remoraid and prevent his opponent from getting into that Octillery anytime soon. And I think, as we were talking about before, Octillery is the lifeblood of this deck. You get to search for pretty much all the cards you need once a turn. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not.
Yeah, we'll see what the rest of his hand looks like here for Jefferson. You know, starting Spiritomb, not necessarily what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, like it's always fun when you add in the tech cards for certain matchups. You know, obviously you understand why this card is in here. You know, for decks like Mew or like decks that play Luminion to prevent that late game boss's orders. But like when you have to start it, it's just like ugh, yikes! Like it really makes you kind of reel back in your seat a bit. So.
This is not the matchup to start this card. It just eats up a bench space. It's a 60 HP Pokemon that your opponent can take for an easy prize if they need to. It's just bad. It doesn't do anything in this matchup. There are benefits to it. For example, it makes the Mew matchup playable instead of just an auto loss.
Right.
In this case, it may be what ends up losing Jefferson top 4.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about Spiritomb later because the high key I think this card might actually be back in the good graces.
Yes,
going the next couple of weekends. Like Loki, I think this card is due for its time in the limelight. But we do at least see an Urshifu and a Remoraid hit the board here. So you know, despite a less than ideal active Pokemon, you know, Jefferson's at least able to get that when he needs and gets the Battle VIP pass. So we're gonna at least almost get a full board here.
So the start is pretty good, but can get punished by that Moonlight Shuriken. Will Saint find it?
Yeah,
Only
it looks
in the Lost Zone, so would need a third Comfy or a Vacuum to hit the board.
Yeah, I mean we'll see what comes off the Colress. Obviously, you know you have almost all of the pieces you need to make it happen there. But like you said, just needs that third. You know, that other way to get those other couple cards in the Lost Zone. So, all right, ripping the Forest Sealstone right now. So,
I'm not. They're grabbing. I guess. Something to note about the Spiritomb is it does have 1 retreat, which is pretty annoying for the Urshifu deck. That Tower of Waters that you use to pivot doesn't affect non-Rapid Strike Pokemon. You could potentially use your 1 copy of Escape Rope, but that isn't always accessible. And
right.
Something else you could do is Fade Out for 10, and that would open up a bench spot, but it does eat a turn, obviously. You don't really want to be doing 10 damage a turn.
yeah, Fade Out's a move you can actually attack with again. No longer... you know, you no longer freeze of fear because of Spirit. Yeah, because Spiritomb is so scary, you actually can't move. So that is exactly how it works out. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, they should bring back that glitch for Halloween.
All right, so there's a vacuum.
Yep, there's a vacuum. So it just needs water energy or a second Mirage Gate. But worst case scenario, you could just force Sealstone for it if you need. Actually thinking about taking the Colress over the Raikou. So this is basically signaling to me that Saint is like all in on the Kyogre plan. It's basically saying like, okay, I don't need this Raikou because I'm just going to Kyogre anyways. And as I say that, he might be rethinking that decision.
Yeah, it's like I'm not. Do I want to do that?
Yeah. Okay, so I think this play makes a little bit more sense. I think having that threat of the Raikou is kind of nice. Dragonite is really bad in the matchup most of the time because it just makes your opponent's Yoga Loop so easy.
Right.
We do see Vacuum. There might have to just get another gate off the Sealstone.
Yeah, we're gonna see the Star Alchemy
Either that
possibly.
or Water Energy. Either gate or Water Energy.
See what you're going for here. Okay. Yep, just gonna grab the gate. Oh,
Vacuum with Dragonite.
See you later,
You don't
Dragonite.
need that. You don't need him.
He'll be fine. All right, here we go.
Double gate, charging up that Greninja, knocking out that Remoraid is going to be so important. This Urshifu deck is just not built to function without the Octillery, and it can sometimes, but it does require a little bit of luck. And having used that Sealstone already means that maybe not having that resource later in the game and being down on Octillery can make the hand so bricky for this deck.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like you said, just having that consistency card to, always help you kind of get what you need. Whoa.
So benching the Manaphy is important in some aspects because you're preventing the rapid flow from Urshi, but you are bench locking yourself. So now, you only have 2 gates left, so you can't really attack with much. You can attack with Raikou, you can attack with Kyogre, you can attack with Greninja, but there's no Sableye, no Cram. So if your opponent chooses not to take any knockouts here and just kind of start spreading damage, you're put in a really weird spot. And I'm not sure I like it.
Yeah, definitely is a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. You could be looking down here if you're Saint, but you're right now. Greninja kind of stuck, a little stuck right now also. But
yeah, I think I'm not sure if I like this play, especially without a boss's orders. This Raikou isn't super threatening, so I think this gives time for Jefferson to kind of just like sit and set up and maybe even use this fade out attack.
that could be
We'll
a
see.
possibility here. Anything that's trying to get Spiritomb off the board. It's just like, how do I get rid of this guy? Like, there's gonna be something I can do.
We might see another Remoraid to try and set up Octillery for the second time. Ultra Ball discarding Urshi and Octillery. Maybe not. Okay, just gonna go straight for that Urshi for VMAX. So we might just see a Gale Thrust instead. I think I would like to see no knockouts being taken and just kind of force your opponent to make do with the resources that they have. But no, instead Jefferson is saying there's enough threats on the board. There's two gates left. That's enough of a problem to deal with. If they gate to the Raikou, that will be a struggle anyways, and they're just going to take the knockout, I think.
Yeah, it looks like that looks going to be the case here. Just kind of weighing it over, thinking about it. Oh, okay.
Iono.
All right, fresh hand of 6 for Jefferson, fresh hand of 5 here for Saint.
2 Inteleon VMAX. Are there any double gunners? 3 cards in hand, no Octillery in play.
Okay.
1 double gunner. The Manaphy having 120 HP though, I don't know if you can you can get that much damage onto it. I think you kind of just want to ignore it, to be honest.
Right. All right, here we
So
go.
we're down to 5 prizes.
Yep, gonna promote to Comfy. Let's see what the response is here from Saint.
The bench spot now opened up. Going to farm some prizes with this Sableye, or maybe not even. Maybe just set up the damage for your Kyogre to put in work. And I think from this spot, I really like Saint's position. I really like his board and the resources he has access to. He has 2 gates. Just needs to basically find enough energy to work with. Maybe put some damage onto those Inteleons with 1 or 2 Sableyes, and you can close out the game pretty easily that way.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. It's there in front of him. Let's see if he's going to be able to capitalize on it. I'm just kind of thinking over this choice right now. All right, Flyer selecting, hitting the. Gonna throw down the Sableye.
Escape rope is pretty cool in this position because your opponent has to either bring up Inteleon VMAX, which gets KO'd by Raikou, or they have to bring up Spiritomb, and Spiritomb can kind of just get left stranded. Not using Fade Out actually going to be really annoying to deal with here, because Sableye can just kind of spread around the Spiritomb, and you're with only 3 cards in hand and no Octillery. That's so tough to get out of that.
No, for sure. As we're going to see the Recycler come through here, just kind of picking what combination of stuff you want to throw back in the deck right now. So you're going to Mirage Gate. I'm going to hit the floor as well.
So resources are getting pretty thin. There is 1 gate left, and I believe 1 Recycler left. So we'll see if it can get managed just right to be able to close out this game. If the Spiritomb gets stranded for long enough, you can just keep loss mining.
Nope, there you go.
We're going to see all the damage being placed on Urshifu to set it up for a loss mine KO. So instead of Kyogre being the win con, it does seem like the win con will instead be Sableye loss mine, knock out Urshi, and then Raikou knock out Inteleon VMAX. The only problem I see with that is that if your opponent gets more bench Pokemon down, you don't play boss's order, so they're not forced to bring out Inteleon if they don't feel
right.
Nest Ball, no grab.
Yeah, bro, just kind of
focus.
Then now going to draw up to 6. Get a great Rapid Strike supporter card. You can't like see what the responses here. Like I said, you only play that 1 copy of Escape Rope, you know, if you're Jefferson. So your options to switch without a stadium are very awkward.
Attach a water and retreat, or attach a water and fade out, but you would really want to use those waters for double gunners.
Yeah, the illusion of choice is very strong for sure. Ultra Ball going to hit the deck here.
I believe Jefferson plays Lumineon, so maybe that comes through.
Yeah, definitely could be an option here. Just kind of thinking it over. You gotta say, something about seeing both Comfy and Manaphy with 120 HP right now is absolutely sending me. Aesthetically, this is very funny.
Yeah, it's looking pretty tough. I think those Bravery Charms putting in work. The tech for Urshifu has been in our face all along.
Jewelry.
I did have a friend before. I forget which regional it was. Maybe it was it Worlds? I think it was Worlds. Well, where they were like, I'm playing Lost Box. Should I play Gorobus in my deck to beat Urshifu? And I'm like, no. No. And then they did well, and then thanked me. So I'm glad that I was able to convince them.
Shouts to Gorobus. That card is so based.
It does beat Urshifu once you get the Gorobus out. That is true. It does do that.
I love that. Ingenuity. All right. So Escape Rope hitting the deck here. So Jefferson getting a bailout here of he's not gonna have to think twice about how you're gonna get the Spiritomb out of the active. You know, these flowers aren't gonna pick themselves. So
I wonder if it was maybe you just lost mine again. Like I don't know what you're digging for with this flower selecting, to be honest. Your opponent's hand size is pretty small, and I think it's kind of annoying to have that Spirit Tomb stuck in the active. So I think I would have liked to see the Lost Mine. But either way, I think the position. Oh, sorry, I got confused about whose turn it was. We're gonna
Yeah,
rope into the Gale Thrust.
we
Okay,
both got
okay.
crossed. It was fine. All right, so there you go.
So the one copy of the rope showing up, but
Yeah, no,
I think I still like the Lost Box. Those Bravery Charms coming in clutch.
no, for sure. There we go. Gotta grab a couple of energies and the switch cart. Looks like it's gonna be the choice here.
This matchup is so different when you don't have access to Octillery.
Yeah, no, you can see it. It's just a very different different matchup here. We're just gonna throw those damage counters onto the Urshifu. That's gonna be 3 prize cards coming on the pipe here for Saint.
And unfortunately, for Jefferson, there's just nothing that is close to being Yoga Loops. He has to have a really good hand. These 4 cards have to be something like Research or a combo of like Water plus Alakazam plus Rapid Strike Energy. And even if you do Yoga Loop, the game isn't over yet.
Yeah, you still have to find a way to take those other 2 prizes. So we're gonna see the Melody come out here, attach from your discard to a Pokemon V and draw 3. So nice little card for your water deck if you play V Pokemon.
Ideally, we would see the Yoga Loop onto the Sableye this turn, but it would require so much.
Yeah, like you said, the path to get there just seems so arduous. Like, you're going to have to burn so many resources just to get to the extra turn. It's just like, are you going to have anything else by the time you get to that second turn? Like, I've seen that happen a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, when, you're playing against the Rapid Strike deck, they get the second turn off, and then they burn so much stuff to get there that they can't do anything with the second turn. So
They're close. One more Water Energy on Alakazam gets you there.
Oh!
Okay, we have water. Is there an Alakazam? Because if there's a Yoga Loop onto that bench Sableye, you can follow it up with I don't even know what it's called. The second attack from Medicham, the whatever uppercut would knock out Sableye. And that Medicham does not get knocked out by Raikou.
No, that's correct.
So Medicham V, that smash uppercut. Just looked it up. I've played this card, I promise. I just don't just don't use it very often.
Yeah. Not affected by weakness either. Shreds, I believe. For all you people that attack with the second attack of Medicham. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
just coming up short.
Just gonna smash uppercut. 100 damage. Actually, the text on that attack is relevant. The attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. It would do 70 if it didn't say that.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. So the game isn't over. Raikou can't knock out this Medicham, but Sableye is still going to put in some work. Is going to put the Medicham down to just one Sableye away from the game being over.
Yeah, we'll see what the play is going to be here. Gonna heal some of that damage off
your 120 health Manaphy just to be safe.
That Manaphy is so healthy. Like,
if I play Urshi and I lose to double Bravery Charm Lost Box, I guess I can't even be mad.
That's on them. kind of look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, that's on me. Like,
okay, so Lost Mine, probably just gonna put some damage on the Medicham, make sure that it can get knocked out by Sableye next turn. Just gonna put all 120 on. The other damage not really relevant anymore. and I think those switch cards are pretty damning.
Yeah, no, that's it. This definitely looks like it's all but wrapped up here. Also, for those of you guys keeping track on Limitless, Andrew, Hedrick, and Melfo in Game 3 themselves also.
Okay.
So
Energy retrieval, bravery charm, definitely mattering, because otherwise these Pokemon on the bench are in range of getting knocked out.
I definitely, I'm speechless. I did not think the bravery charms would being utilized the way that they are would be so effective. But like you said, it's just putting them just out of range for what Jefferson wants to do here.
Is there any route? There's no lost vacuum in Urshifu. The deck does not have the room for that.
Does not look like it.
I guess the best you can do is if it's like Iono smash uppercut.
That could be the play here. Looks like there's thinking about something here. I'm just kind of another double gunner coming down again. So much health.
Slowly but surely, chipping away at the behemoth known as Comfey.
Yeah. Bow before your new master, 120 HP Comfy. It's not real.
Yeah.
It can't hurt you.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, so the game isn't over. There is a chance.
No.
Oh, okay, and now there's no chance.
No.
Because we do know there's energy in the deck, so this Raikou is gonna come online, going to attack, and that'll seal it up, I believe, unless there's something that I'm not seeing.
No, I think the final nail's there. It's just not completely hammered in yet. I think Jefferson's just kind of waiting over his options. I'm curious what he got off of his 3, as well.
Yeah.
Yep, just gonna be another smash uppercut and take your prize card, sir. But this is all but she wrote. And you top deck the energy. You need it. We're so back. And there you go, folks. That is going to be Saint taking it over Jefferson. Get a set count of 2-1, and the big story of that last game, Vic, like you said, playing without Octillery is just completely changes the complexion of how this deck has to operate.
It does, for sure.
All right,
bravery charms.
Yeah, what y'all know about the beefed up Manaphy and Comfy though? Like those flowers are growing on vines, bro. Like those things are strong. All right, so let's while we do that, let's take a look at the game already. We're gonna switch over to the game already in progress and see if we can see maybe catch the end of Andrew and Melfa. Hold on for 2 seconds, guys. All right, Jordan's match already in progress, like we mentioned.
And it looks like it's really close.
Yeah. So it looks like
we're a full board, but Andrew getting the first Sableye off.
Yeah, huge stuff here, for sure. So there we go, getting a prize card off of the Lost Mine. So also, do not adjust if you're just joining us, guys, do not adjust your TVs at home. This is we're not watching the replay. This is just more Lost Zone. We heard you guys love the Lost Zone.
This is the final match of our final top 4 sets. Winner goes on to play against Saint with their Lost Box Kyogre. We see Andrew taking the Manaphy out, putting 50 on a Comfy, the classic 70-50 spread from Lost Box, making it so that your opponent, even if they switch cart, they're in range of getting a double KO from Sableye the next turn.
Yep, lovely stuff here. So
Andrew, though, doesn't have a Manaphy on the bench, and I do believe that Malfo plays the Water Energy, so he does. So that could be a potential option if he has access to it.
Yeah, curious if the Greninja has hit the board already or not, but well, I'm sure someone will click on a discard pile or the lost one, and we'll see where that guy ended up. So, just on cue. Thanks, Andrew.
So 2 gates being played this turn. Andrew actually leaving the Pidgeot on the bench is a little bit risky, but saying I don't think, though there's 2 boss in the discard already. That must be why that Andrew's willing to do that.
There you go. The Iono coming down here, so everybody going to get a hand of 4. Kind of a less than ideal hand here for Andrew. Seeing Battle VIP pass this late into the game.
It's not good, but
never good.
Andrew is rewarded for keeping that Pidgeot around. Can just grab a Chorus, which is nice. And here you have to Lost Mine the Sableye. Combine that with the Iono. Hope that your opponent can't attack the following turn. Classic Giratina plays.
There you go. So we're going to knock out the Sableye. Going to throw the rest of that damage on the Comfy. So we're going to promote the Comfy. Let's see what the top deck is here for Andrew. The Force Seal still has to be popped, so there's that is still an option for him here.
I think you kind of just have to grab something with it. I guess the question is, do you grab something with it now, or do you flower selecting first? Clara's in the discard, which that would have been a nice grab, but not going to be the case here. So I guess you just grab Chorus. Maybe you flower first. Oh, 1 Chorus in the Lost Zone, so resources looking really thin.
They're going to grab the Mirage Gate and send the Echoing Horn to the Lost Zone.
I guess you could Super Rod and then Seal Stone for Sableye and then Gate. So that might be what Andrew's considering, because if you grab Chorus, it's not guaranteed that you get an attack off.
Right, yeah.
Oh, and we see a retreat here, though. So no retreats available for the rest of the turn. Manaphy is important, that's for sure. Not that Greninja has come down.
Yes, absolutely. So gonna.
But you can no longer Star Alchemy for guaranteed attack.
Yeah, let's see. You're gonna pop the Star Alchemy anyway. See what you can get here.
Maybe Chorus, or Roxanne. Okay, there's no Chorus in deck, but there is Roxanne. So maybe Roxanne, 2 Sableye in deck. I didn't see if there were any Psychic Energy. 1 Psychic Energy. So the attack isn't guaranteed yet. You do need to hit both the Sableye Psychic Energy in addition to a switch card to attack this turn. So it's not looking great.
Again, just put those energies back into the deck here. Just kind of up your chances of possibly drawing into this.
Thankfully,
all right, here we go.
Greninja is still in the deck. Oh, there's no, but past the peak. Oh, Sableye switch card Psychic.
Just like we drew it up, guys.
Beautiful. Yeah, Andrew's got to be really happy with that, because there is a Tina V-Star staring him down on the bench. You do need to keep up those attacks, or else it'll just be too much. You'll get overrun, given that your opponent already has a 1 prize lead. So hitting the Sableye attack here is super, super integral.
Yeah, Roxanne giving you everything you needed on that last game, or no, excuse me, on that last play. So, like you said, just being able to soften up that wall is going to be huge here.
So here, in this situation, do you take prizes or do you just spread damage, as we've seen Hedrick do time and time again?
Yeah, I think because it looks like the line is here. Like if you could easily knock out, you can knock out something here. You risk getting knocked out in the next turn, and then the V-Star Power Cell has been popped by Giratina yet. So I don't. So there's always the option of Boss Star Requiem just to end the game on the Pidgeot.
I believe I saw both Boss in the discard for Malfoy, and I think that's the reason why Andrew hasn't shuffled this Pidgeot in.
Right? Yeah. That's why I was gonna bring it up next. So I wasn't sure if there's most likely only two. I think there's only two Boss on the list. I believe I had the list up here still.
Yeah, I think so. So it looks like Andrew will take the 2 KOs, doesn't want any of this damage to get healed by switch cards or anything like that, and also wants to make sure that his opponent can't use Sableye again themselves, because then they would be able to take 2 prizes. Makes sense. And your hand isn't that amazing, so it would be okay if you got Roxanne. Not ideal. 2 Sableyes left in the deck, 1 Psychic Energy in hand. Does his opponent have any way to respond? Is there more hand disruption in hand for Malfoy?
Let's take a look here. Ooh, we're dueling Roxanne's.
Ooh, this game is so close.
Ooh. Switch card and the Mirage Gate. Let's see what.
Mirage Gate, very good. Switch card, very good. Just needs Sableye.
Ooh, Jet Energy to get Cram out of the active. Nope. Okay. Just gonna heal whatever's left of that damage off.
Mm-hmm. I forget if Andrew took the Echoing Horn or Lost Zoned it, but
he lost zoned it.
Okay. So in that case, this game is really, really close, actually. Andrew needs to find 2 attacks back to back. 1 attack won't cut it.
So I guess the Psychic Energy there.
Looking for the Sableye. I think there are 2 in deck. Thinking about if they should Mirage Gate first, I think, to maximize the odds of Sableye.
Yeah, that was always a tough question to ask. 11 cards left in the deck. Do you play the odds? Maybe thin a couple more cards out. I'm just gonna let it rock. There you go.
Okay, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. We have to find yet another attack yet again. After this turn.
Andrew continuing to hold on here by the skin of their teeth.
10 damage on that Comfy also means that because of the switch card, Comfy only has 10 damage left, which means that you can't take 2 prizes in 1 turn with Sableye. So it's really coming down to the wire.
All right, think about where to spread the damage.
I think Iono is gone. 1 Roxanne is gone. So you don't... If Iono's gone, it's okay to take a prize here, I think. So you just want to get rid of the Comfy to minimize the chance that your opponent plays down Roxanne, I suppose. Just give them less resources. I think maybe there should be 20 damage on the Greninja in case you have to cram it, or maybe 40 on the Greninja in case there's a switch cart. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, this is chorus coming down.
It's gonna come down to this last turn. Can Andrew get 1 more attack? Will we see Pidgeot V? I don't even know what attack it is. I don't know what it's called.
I just had the page up. Where was it? Pidgeot. Flight Surf.
Flight Surf.
Hits for 160 to the stadium and play.
It has to be your stadium.
Oh,
So we could see Escape Rope, Stadium, Flight Surf, but I don't think Andrew has all of those cards in the deck.
didn't have that on my bingo card today. That's for sure.
Ooh, but there's Escape Rope.
Oh,
Okay, Psychic is prize. I think Andrew was looking for that card, unfortunately.
that's tough. And it's always the last prize card.
6 energy in the discard. Andrew, I believe, plays 9. So 1 is in hand, 1 is in loss, 1's in the prizes, and 1's in the lost zone. So 0 energy in deck. Psychic being the last prize, I think.
This might be
doom
checkmate.
him. I don't know how many rods are gone, but you really don't have a lot of draw power to rod and draw into the cards you need. There's a Sableye, but there's no Chorus in deck either. So he would have won if he grabbed that Psychic energy off that second to last prize, but nope, not gonna
That
happen.
stinks.
It was essentially 50-50 at that point. Andrew thinking things through. No more Psychic in deck. Gonna rope. No Flight Surf, unfortunately. No Lost
sorry.
Line.
Sorry for all the Flight Surf fans out there.
Just gonna bring up the Sableye to scare his opponent.
Scratch?
Scratch for 20.
Those some sharp claws.
A close game.
Yep.
What a close ending. Came down to a 50-50 prize and just didn't get there. The third energy not showing up for Andrew.
Yeah, so congratulations to Melfo. Moving on over Andrew Hedrick. In top 4 here, going to be going on to face Saint. So let's just jump on over to the Saint stream because I'm sure he's still going up right now. So stay tuned. All right, Santa's not gone live just yet, so we could hop back into oh, here we go. Okay, now we're good. We got something to watch here. There we go. All right, we're back in the live side of things. So Vic, is going to be a good old fashioned Lost Box mirror for our final match of the night.
Who would have thunk?
Some things are forever. Death taxes spin instantly for 110. So I'm here for it. I'm excited. I like, again, as a spectator, I love watching just like high level Lost Box games. Just like the intricacy that goes into every decision is huge. Like I said, a decision you make on turn 1 could come back to haunt you several turns later, and I live for that sort of discourse and suspense. And I like watching people do things that I can't do myself normally. So, so as we go, Kyogre, please. As if that ain't a mood, I don't know what is. We're getting into our final match of the night here, folks. Late night 142. Victor's stream of consciousness of what he's going to play in Sacramento this weekend.
I will say that I am unlikely to play
Oh.
either of these lists in the finals. I think Kyogre really strong in best of 1, really strong on online, but the times I've played Kyogre to a regional, my brain has been fried by round 9, just completely shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like the other part about like playing a deck that requires so much like sequencing and make sure you do things the right way. Like by the time like I'm sure by the time you get to like the middle of your day, you're probably like your brain's probably a smoothie.
Yeah, no, totally. I think Lost Box already kind of does that to you, but Kyogre just makes it worse.
Yeah, so remember to stay hydrated and bring a snack, folks, if you're playing Lost Box in Sacramento. Or do what I do. Yeah, do what I do. Lose the first 3 matches of the day, and then buy a convention center hot dog for, for $8.
We're getting into it. What's the over under? What are the odds that we see a Kyogre Aqua Storm come through against a Tina that has Manaphy? I guess it's pretty unlikely, but it could happen.
I'm gonna say at least one. I will say that it'll happen at least once.
You think it'll happen once?
Okay. Manaphy's gonna be in these prize cards. I swear, it's gonna be. Okay. Manaphy is not gonna show its head at all. There can only be one Manaphy that stars in our stream tonight, and it's the 120 HP one that flexed all over Rapid Strike.
Ooh, and this is one of the reasons I don't like Kyogres, because you play a lot of Energy Recycler, and that card does not feel good sometimes, like right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a rough opening hand right here.
Fine, Chorus. Okay, we have a Nest Ball. We're not going to get donked. That's good.
We did it, guys. We've avoided disaster.
2 Comfies in the prizes and Greninja in the prizes, so that's not ideal.
Oh, boy.
And Roxanne also one of the better cards to play in this matchup. That also already hit the loss zone, unfortunately, for Saint. Yeah,
that's definitely. I mean, for once, an easy decision coming up here. Obviously, Battle VIP bows on the first turn. We'll take that. So immediately,
no additional Comfies or Greninja. That's fine. You can cram next turn, and you'll be okay with that.
All right, so let's see how Melfo starts off their turn. Immediately throw the Comfy down, gets the Chorus. So I feel like I've seen this move before.
Does look familiar. Will Melfo get that cram attack? They're really close. They just need a cram and a couple switch cards or energy, and they're there.
There you go. I was going to say, 10-card hand, odds are pretty high you're going to have something to help you switch out there. Man, if you're going to hit the deck. Kramer going to hit the deck. And another, look like Radiant Greninja wasting no time. Just going wide here in the first turn.
I like it. As long as you don't bench another guy.
Yes.
Just don't bench the 5th guy. And if it's not... Don't bench a non-Sableye. Until that point, this play has been good so far.
Yeah, definitely have to be aware of the Raikou, hiding in the depth. There we go. There's our switch card there to get Cram into the active.
Melfo with an early lead now. I didn't even check who chose to go second. I would imagine Melfo chose.
I believe it was Melfo that chose to go second.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think going second, as long as you get your cram attack off, feels pretty good in this mirror, especially if your opponent can't follow it up with a Sableye, which it seems like Saint is in no position to do, given the lack of pump phase.
And this is a tough chorus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's the other thing about playing. Good.
Go ahead. I'll speak.
Right,
yeah, Dragonite, Sealstone would be good to get you one card, but you also don't really want to bench Dragonite in this matchup, especially if they are able to get into their Tinas. You can't really attack with it, so it makes sense that they go for the Double Water and Bravery Charm. But that being said, the hand is super dead, so dead.
Yeah, like this is like it's well done. It's over. The hand is just not good right now. And I was
but if they grab Comfy or Greninja off the prizes,
hey, we'll take that. Yeah, I was just gonna add on to that. It's like that's like the other part about playing Lost Box that is like so like arduous that like sometimes you're just faced with these impossible decisions to make. Where it's just like it's like you're not choosing between a pinky finger and like a pinky toe. You're literally choosing between limbs of your body sometimes, and that could like it's arduous. It's painful. So
It is tough. Thankfully, Greninja is saving the day, going to draw some more cards. But if this cram goes down this turn, it might not. But if it does,
oh boy,
Saint is going to be in a tough spot with only one Comfy. You're kind of too far away from being able to Sableye. So you'd have to Super Rod the cram back and then hope you hit Nest Ball, I guess. It's not great.
yeah, definitely not a game of chance that I would personally want to play. All right, gonna see some more cards here. Oh no, gonna conceal cards first.
I'm interested to see if Malfo goes with I'm just Lost Box with Tina's in my deck and they never come down strategy, or if the Tina will come down eventually. If you are winning and you get the first KO, you can just play as worst Lost Box. It seems like that might be what we're gonna see this match.
Yeah, it looks like that definitely seems like a strategy here. Just kind of, putting out the little guys, not bringing out the, the big hitters unless, God forbid you actually need to. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of birds fighting each other.
Yeah.
It's like living in the city. All right, there you go. Cram on cram violence. Strong in this finals match, as that is a third Cramorant KO from Elfo.
These switch cards would be so good if there were more Comfy in deck. Ooh, heavy ball. We got there.
There we go. Comfy is back. His Comfy is going to be so strong. Its back is going to be so powerful.
I don't remember exactly how much Saint has in the Lost Zone right now. It's going to show us 7. So off of this Comfy, it'll be 8. And we do have a vacuum. So Sableye is online, just needs to find it now. Because you are one prize behind, you kind of do need to Sableye first if you want to win this game. Your two options to come back are to Sableye first or to disrupt your hand and prevent them from Sableyeing later on in the game. But obviously you don't want to leave it up to chance. You would like to Sableye first if you can.
For sure.
Coming through.
Right,
there it
you
is.
go. Ooh.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think at this point that's okay. You want to save?
I was gonna say theoretically, in the Lost Box mirror, if you like Lost Mine, Manaphy, and then Roxanne them, you could Aqua Storm for 2 prizes, but I have never seen it happen. I've thought about it. I've theorized it. I've never seen it happen though.
Maybe someday. We're just waiting for you to do it first, obviously. So.
I mean, if there is a game, and the Bravery Charm gonna come through. This Bravery Charm might actually be impactful if Malfo can't find a vacuum.
Yep, we said it before. 130 HP Sableye is not real. He can't hurt you until he is real. And
oh wait, Malfo doesn't even play vacuum. Okay, so that's one downside of playing this like I am Lost Box but worse kind of game plan. You have no way to deal with a 130 HP Sableye if you don't bench your Giratina. I think this is something that doesn't come up, so they just chose not to bench Giratina. But now that it's happening, this is really bad.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't game plan for it until you're at the point of no return. It's like, wait, I'm sorry, how much health do you have again?
What do you even? I guess you just attack around it and just let your opponent like Lost Mine for free. And then maybe bench Giratina and set that up and take it out next turn, or something like that.
Yeah, and
Malfo is in a tough spot because they have to get back Manaphy now that the Greninja is charged up. They have to deal with a Sableye somehow in some way.
Yeah, the prisoner's dilemma is here and strong within the field of play.
Yeah. Okay, so they do bench Giratina, which can deal with the Sableye with Shred, and that might just be the plan of action. Can they get back the Manaphy though? That's gonna be pretty important.
Let's see. In that big hand, you hope you have something there. There we go. The Super Rod.
Okay, Super Rod.
Gonna come through. All right, it's like again, you're gonna hit the board here. So fully souped up Giratina, and that's what's gonna come in to fray here. And Manaphy is back, so I'm gonna shred for the knockout here. So what was looking like it could go very poorly for Melfo was able to course correct. So your bench is safe from Greninja Snipe, and you're able to take care of the active threat. So
The downside of this play is that Malfo is bench locked, so I'm trying to think how many Sableyes Saint would need to win the game at this point. Because Malfo will just have to keep using Shred or Spit Innocently. So the 4 prizes that you would take are, I guess, the Greninja, the 2 Comfies, and the Manaphy. So that's 210 plus 90, 300. So if you go Sableye 3 turns in a row, you would win, but you have to start Sableying now. You cannot miss Sableye even once.
yeah, this is definitely it's gonna be a tough one to navigate for sure. But
So I guess that's one route. One route is to Sableye 3 turns in a row and prevent your opponent from even responding with a Sableye of their own or using Roxanne or anything like that. Your other route is to knock out Manaphy again and try to get value out of that Greninja. So those are your kind of your 2 options here. We'll see which one Saint goes for.
I'm gonna pick a couple cards here. Get the escape rope.
Or I guess, will it be neither? If you can't get the Sableye out this turn, you can't do either, and that would be pretty bad. Ooh, there it is.
All right. Sableye down. A plethora of options to get it out into the active here. And just going to get some energies and some friends back.
I think I prefer just spreading the damage because your hand is pretty good. I don't know how many Sableye they have access to though. Only 2 cards left in deck and only 1 rod in hand, so you might not even have the resources to Sableye 3 times, in which case you would have to knock out the Manaphy, I think.
Right. I'm gonna go for the Lost Mine.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, knocking out the Manaphy, and then you're gonna Greninja, and then maybe 1 more Sableye is kind of your route to victory here. I wonder if Saint doesn't play Clara because they are the Kyogre build, and I think that does make it tougher. Oh, finds a second Super Rod though, which is nice. So Ken now win as well with Sableye if the Manaphy comes back down.
All right, let's see how Melfo responds here.
Something key to note is that Saint is at 3 prizes, so Roxanne is very live.
Yes, and we've seen Roxanne be a huge factor in these Lost Zone mirrors so far. Whether it be giving your opponent exactly what they need or take away the resources. And just on Vic, like you said, the Roxanne coming through here. It's going to send Melfo to a hand of 6 and a hand of 2.
That's not good. That is
no.
really bad.
that is a rock in your hand.
That being said, though, if Melfo can't get the Manaphy down, you have an attacker lined up and Star Requiem. Okay, so it's still anyone's game. Just has to bring that Greninja up, get that value. And if if all 3 games are going to be this close, going to come down to the wire like this, we may be in for a long one.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna feel my hair's graying out here for sure. So some real intense matches. But again, two players, piloting a very difficult to operate deck at a high level. It's like, we love to see it. So gonna go shopping real quick. Grab a bravery charm for your troubles.
2 Psychic, 2 Sableye in deck. You might want to enter your Recycler some energy just to concealed cards potentially. Oh, I guess you're it's probably gonna get knocked out, so makes sense kind of not to in this case and just leave those energy in the discard.
Oh, there we go. 90 and 90. There we go. Excellent stuff right there from Saint. Gonna get the 2 prize knockout here.
More Sableye is all that's needed to close out the game, but we've seen that before. Last game, Andrew was 1 Sableye away as well. Just couldn't quite get there. Nest Ball, though, a good sign unless Roxanne hits the hand again.
Yeah, always a valid option, a valid fear for sure. So
loading up the Giratina V-Star with 5 energies just so that loss impact doesn't impact how easy it is to attack with the card.
Well said.
There's no hand disruption that you can do. There's nothing you can really. There's no tricky plays you can make. You just gotta take your last prize or it's over.
Alrighty. Do or die time for either.
There's a cram in deck, right?
Yep.
Okay, so cram plus rope. Okay, rope. That was a good prize to grab.
There we go. That's gonna seal it up here.
Top deck's the psychic energy anyways. if they felt like it.
Love when the top deck works in your favor. Nothing like this. Nothing gets the brain juice flowing faster than that. So, all right, there you go. In a tough game 1, that is going in Saints' favor. So,
Kyogre player in theory is favored. They both have Roxanne. They have Bravery Charms. So that matchup going the way you would expect, but it was really close. So it might go all 3 games. Melfo was able to get that first knockout. Let's see if they choose to go second again.
Let's see what the option is here.
Looks like we have
Okay.
a big Saint fan in the chat. Saint up 1-0. One more game to be crowned late night champion.
Yes, sir. All right, so here we go. So Saints opting to go first here.
I believe Melfo chose to go second after losing.
Okay, I wasn't sure who was flipping the coin there. I'm curious of how PTCGL chooses who flips the coin. I wonder if there's any data behind that.
I think it's random, but basically, I don't know who gets to physically click it. But for late night best of 3, whoever loses gets to quote unquote choose, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Start with a Sableye, not the best, but does have VIP pass, can grab Greninja and Comfey, can start to draw into some more cards. Not getting Manaphy just yet. Your opponent is playing Tina. They can't Moonlight Shuriken you turn 1, so you're not going to get punished, but you will need to find it eventually. Now, does the Pokestop get played here? Nope,
No.
Just going to pass it on over.
Yep, smart stuff. You don't want to risk giving your opponent a resource that they might not have already, and then they can spin for it off the Pokestop for free. So
yeah, I think if your opponent doesn't cram attack this turn, you're really in an amazing spot. So it makes sense to not Pokestop. You're not really digging for anything this turn specifically.
There we go. Switch cards coming out here. We're going to pick some flowers with Comfy. And again, going right back to work here with the Jet Energy. Pretty standard stuff here. So, looks like the turn 2 Cram Attack is once again on board here. So, if another switch option is in the hand, then get up Melfa off to another strong start.
The way Lost Mirror plays out is that the person who attacks the Cram first is winning, and then the person who attacks with Sableye first can either cement that advantage or start to come back using a 2-prize swing turn. Then the switch cards can also play a factor. Switch cards can kind of negate getting to Sableye first. And then on top of those factors, there's also Roxanne to take into consideration. So that's kind of how the match plays out. There are a few curveballs thrown here and there because we are playing Tina versus Kyogre. So there's some tricky things you can do. But for the most part, those are kind of the plot points of how this matchup normally goes.
Yeah, the intricacies of how the office flow chart can break down here is really interesting. Again, which is why I love watching it. You know, being in one of those positions, seeing the numbers whiz by my head, it's just whoa. I need a snack or something to get my brain.
I would say in the entire standard format, Lost Box versus Lost Box is probably the matchup I know the most, I would say. I am very, very well versed with it. There's so many things you can do, and it's really, really fun, really cool.
Oh, 100%.
There's, of course, the bench locking thing that does come up where you don't want to bench lock yourself without Sableye. But then there's also situations where if you do bench lock yourself, maybe you can still win if you have enough switch cards or a boss up a V play that they're not expecting. So much going on.
Is Dragonite going to hit the bench here? Nope, possibly. Beefy Sableye is back. And I'm just
making it painful for your opponent, I guess, having to shred yet again.
Yeah, anything you can do to kind of pigeonhole the offense, in your favor. So Spitting Innocently will get Saint on the board here. Ball now goes back over to Melfof's side of the court. Let's see what we're cooking with.
Chorus, obviously very important. Seems like an easy choice. 2 VIP pass hitting the lost zone, which is nice. Do we see Cram Attack? Do we see Sableye Attack? Do we see Shred? I guess we could even see Greninja. No Manaphy on the bench. So Greninja, Comfy, and Cramorant could be a pretty good play.
Yeah, definitely an option here. Switch card coming out. Gonna Flower Select once more. Thin out the deck just a little bit more. Gonna get that hand size up to a healthy amount. What's the biggest hand size you've ever had in a Lost Box game in general?
That's a good question. There was a time where Roxanne was not very popular in Lost Box, so you would play the mirror and you'd have over 20 cards in your hand. I don't remember exactly the highest amount, but I think it's got to be at least 20.
That is so funny. Live makes 11 card hands look so feasible, but I try to hold more than 8 cards in my hand, and it's they're literally spilling out of my palms. It's...
Yeah, you definitely put parts of your hand down at some point, for sure.
All right, Pat to the peak hitting the floor here. Okay, not really a huge factor here, but thinning out the hand the best you can.
Yeah, you don't get the Greninja draw anymore from either side, so that's kind of interesting, but 2 stadiums in the hand of Saints, so they can choose to pop it if they so choose, and no attack whatsoever from the side of Malfo.
Wow, that's rough. Like, we've seen how it goes. It feels like missing an attack in the mirror just seems so bad.
It is, for sure. Especially if Saint is able to attack with Sableye this turn. Which they might be able to. I think I saw... Maybe it was only 6 in the lost zone, in which case it's going to be tough. They only have one comfy down. But possible. Still possible.
Definitely still very doable here. Let's see what we get here. A couple of... It's the other Bravery Charm off there, so not bad.
Guess you can just attach Bravery Charm to Comfey and attack with Cram. Roxanne being discarded is not good. You would like to keep that around, but it's not the end of the world, especially now that you're going to take a prize lead. You kind of wanted to attack with Sableye this turn, not looking like it's going to happen. You also kind of want Manaphy down this turn, also looking like it's not happening.
Could be Cram carrying the load once more. But gonna Flower Select. Again, just kind of thin out hands a little bit more.
Thinking about the Super Rod, knowing that you might have to chain Sableyes back to back to back. Switch card, of course, also pretty invaluable, given that you have no switch cards in hand. So I could see the argument for both, to be honest.
Yeah, another one of those tough lost box choices that you're kind of faced with a couple times a game.
Mm-hmm. Switch card and rope and chorus in the prizes. So once you start taking some, there are some good cards that you can see. And I think you just Cram again and be okay with it. Not sure if the Bravery Charm will come down, though. I think you do put the Bravery Charm down, because if you don't, your opponent could Moonlight Shuriken, knock out Comfey, put 90 on Cram. I guess...
Yeah, it's a tough call.
Even if you don't Bravery Charm, I guess you can just Bravery Charm the Cram afterwards, and it's kind of like the same effect.
No, going to spit instantly for the knockout instead. No Bravery Charm yet, so holding on to that option just a little bit longer. And he gets a Battle VIP pass for your troubles. So
really good cards.
Yeah. There's like 5 good cards in the prize. There's
Yeah.
4 good cards, and you just happen to get the one. So it'd be like that sometimes.
Your good old vacuum target.
Name a better combination.
Yeah.
Between Battle VIP Pass and cards that get rid of Battle VIP Pass.
Melfo playing the chorus now. Surely he's got to have an attack this turn, right? Surely.
He has to. If he doesn't, then that hand is just... it has to be like the 12 most useless cards like ranked in his deck to where he can't possibly get an attack off. Like even a spinning attack, like I'll take that at that point.
I will say my Lost Box level of play is pretty solid, but I think spinning attack and scratch does slip my mind. I wonder if there's ever a match I lost because I didn't think about spinning attack or scratch. And I honestly, possibly.
One of these days is you're gonna find yourself in one of these situations. It's like, yep, good thing I remembered to scratch.
So someone has told me that they won a game off of scratch and could only scratch. Like that was their only option. It's relevant, I guess. Okay, so Melfo benching the Sableye, probably going to attack with it this turn. I would have to imagine. I don't know where the damage goes necessarily, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you knock out the Kofi and then, like maybe you try to soften up the Cramorant or something, but
yeah. Lost Box is all about taking efficient knockouts because you can move your damage and put them anywhere. You kind of want to like think of knockouts as like prizes per HP, if that makes sense.
Right?
And
yeah.
There's not really great options on the board. This Bravery Charm putting in work, making it so that like everything has a little bit more higher HP. than you would like. And I think we're gonna see a Moonlight Shuriken onto Cram and Comfy instead, or maybe Comfy and Sableye, if you see yourself going down the disruption route.
Yeah, we'll see what sticks here. We see the Shuriken coming out. Who is it gonna be? Comfy's easy one,
Yeah.
obviously.
But now here's a tough call.
Okay.
Okay, onto Cram.
Choosing to soften up the Cramorant.
This makes sense if you don't know your opponent's hand, because Cram does have lower HP. You do get more value out of cleaning it up, but it probably is going to get punished by this Bravery Charm that's gonna come down onto it. Oh, interesting. Saint's thinking about not picking up that Manaphy.
Definitely a bold choice.
I don't know if you can greed that much.
Yeah, that's tough.
Okay, goes for it. It's a bold play. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah. I mean, you're up a game. Might as well get a little silly.
I feel like, okay, so I kind of see the intent behind not getting the Manaphy. I see the vision, but I think if you go with that like line of play, I don't think you bench the Comfy here. I think you just kind of like just try to get as many Sableyes into play as possible, and then try to like play the game without Comfy, if that makes sense.
Right. No, I pick up what you're putting down.
Now you're in danger of getting Moonlight Shuriken yet again.
Oh, okay, gonna grab the Psychic Energy. Yeah, you got two.
Sableye, 130 HP.
What's scarier than 130 HP Sableye?
The problem is, now that you lost on your Manaphy, the biggest threat on the board is Greninja. And Greninja does not get knocked out by Lost Mine.
Yeah, that's tough. All right, yep, looks like we're going to just kind of spread the damage around a bit, like it's to take the damage on, or take the KO on the Manaphy. You kind of just soften up everything else.
I'm not seeing the vision. Okay, well, I guess the reason they put 30 on the Giratina is potentially to Kyogre next turn if the Manaphy isn't put back into play. And we see the Nest Ball before Super Rod, so maybe that might just happen. We might see that Kyogre Aqua Casio.
The one. Yeah, it could be one of those instances where like maybe like because Saint didn't show the Kyogre at all last game, you kind of like lull your opponent into a false sense of security, like, oh, like they're not gonna do it. But I think it's very much on the table here now that, like you said, you kind of bench locked yourself with no Manaphy.
So there's no Manaphy. Oh, but there is a Roxanne. Okay, so the game, I think if you didn't Roxanne there, I think the game was like over. I think they had enough resources to burn through the deck.
They got Energy Recycler and Town Store again? Are you kidding me?
This is, playing Kyogre feels great into your Kyogre matchups, and then drawing Recycler when Alpha Roxanne does not feel good at all.
That is so funny. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time it happened, I'd have two, which isn't a lot, but...
So we see 2 knockouts. Malfo at 2 prizes remaining. Nothing on the board can really get knocked out very easily. I think we're in prime shred hours here.
Yes.
Lost Mine can take 1 prize and set up a potential 2 prize turn next turn. So what is... I guess...
Oh.
There's nothing that Malfo can really do to stop this unless he has enough switch cards to heal. And there's 2 switch cards down, so I think that might be it. 50 plus 30 plus 10 is 90, and even with 1 switch card, that would be at 120, which is perfect Sableye math. So you can shred, but your Sableye and your Comfy is just too damaged at this point.
Yeah, we could have could be reaching the point of no return here, but we do have kind of just a hard retreat out into the Giratina. That's tough. Oh, but okay. I guess we can get the if you're able to get the energy back, then I guess it's it's all right.
The Recycler Town Store combo off the Roxanne, not good, but the top deck of the Psychic basically puts Saint in a position to checkmate. Oh, there's a Roxanne, but I don't think it matters. This top deck of the Psychic was huge to prevent this Roxanne from doing anything.
Brother, this hand stinks.
But if you have 2 Sableyes with Bravery Charms,
all right, the Star Requiem will eviscerate that one Sableye. So, but second Sableye is on deck here. So again, just gonna waste no time. Just gonna take the knockout so we can. Oh, see ya.
there it is. No misclicks here. Yep. No Bravery Charms.
20 for you, 10 for you, and 20, and we're gonna be forced to sit through all 3 of these prize tags. 1, 2. Count with us at home, folks. And 3. There we go. So that is all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Your late night 142 champ is 142. Yeah, late night 142 champion is Saint. So let's go back to the caster channel, Vic, and we'll talk about what broke down today. Oh, and when you look at that, it's us against folks. Do you remember what we look like? Because this is us. And the last time we commentated, I couldn't get the cameras working, but now you get to put a face to the charming voices of myself and Vic. And Vic, what a tournament we had tonight. If you're a Lost Box enjoyer, you definitely got your money's worth tonight. And I had a great time watching this. First and foremost, again, yeah. Lost Box is just it's a fun. I love watching these matches play at high level because, like you said, the level of decision making you have to make. It's just like every agonizing Colress, every agonizing flower selecting. Get to watch it all play out in real time, and again, like someone like yourself that says this is pretty much like your bread and butter. Like this mirror like it's the back of your shelf behind you. I'm sure you had just as much fun as I did.
I did, yes. Congratulations again to Saint and well played to Malfoy. Very well played overall. The Bravery Charms, I can't say I would play them personally, but I can't deny that they put in some work in the match.
That was spicy. That was super spicy. I dig it. Like I like seeing little intricacies like that. How can I give myself the edge? Because like we talked about up top, like there's we got 3 regionals back to back to back. It's a really packed month. So you're gonna really see like people maybe adjusting on the fly. You're gonna see some really interesting card tech choices pop up between what was meta in Pittsburgh could be very out of date by the time we finish Toronto in a couple of weeks. And I'm very excited. So we're in the heat of the season. I'm excited. Definitely got some ideas and some deck lists I'm gonna copy to my clipboard once we're done here tonight. But that's it from us tonight, Vic. So again, always a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. A student of the game. I am just a sponge. Someone that's still pretty new to the competitive side of things. I'm just a sponge of information. So any sort of upper edge I can leech off of. Gonna talk to you every other week. I will certainly take advantage of. So
you will learn a lot of Lost Box if you ever want to play that deck.
I play with my roommate all the time. I love playing Lost Box. It's fun.
It's fun.
Until I have to, until I'm faced with an agonizing decision, and then I'm just in a bad mood for the rest of the day. But that's gonna be it for us tonight, folks. So first and foremost, shout outs to the Shuffle Squad and everybody involved making these happen every week. It's one of the highlights of my week. Just gonna sit down and watch some high level Pokemon TCG action at home. Vicky, anything you want to plug before we get out of here? I know you said you're going to Sacramento. You got any other?
Yeah, I'm going to Sacramento this weekend. Feel free to say hi if you're watching and you're going. hopefully I do well. But wish you all luck for anyone that's going, and see you next week, of course, here at late night.
I'll be rooting for you for sure. I'll be sure to be
Thank
tuning
you.
in as well. So, I am not going to Sacramento, but I am going to Toronto. So stay tuned. If you're going to Toronto, make sure to come say hi. I don't know what deck I'm going to play yet. I'm gonna have my 5-year-old nephew, spin around in a circle a few times, and then whatever he decides, that's what we're gonna land on. But that's gonna be it for us tonight, folks. So have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.